Curtis Selby's time. Breaking down the stories every view will unwind. From left to right we'll see the light. It's balance we're chasing, no fighters fight. Curtis Selby talking it straight. Let's hear both sides, let's communicate. Politics and reason, let's find the truth. Curtis Selby's here to bridge it for you. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis Selby keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay on while it's diving deep with Curtis Selby. The combo's unique. The combo's unique. Dave's out with the cheerful whistle and guitar riff. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis Selby keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, it's diving deep with Curtis Selby. The convo's unique. Curtis Selby talking it straight. Let's hear both sides, let's communicate. Politics and reason, let's find the truth. Curtis Selby's here to bridge it for you. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis Selby keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, it's diving deep with Curtis Selby. The combo's unique. The combo's unique. The combo's unique.
Hello, everybody. It is I, Curtis Selby, your tired midnight blogger. What blogs in this case? At 1:37 p.m., slowly creeping my way toward midnight. Trying to get a poll set up here. Trying to think of some good topics, just in case we do a stream on Tuesday. Scooby Dooby, Scooby, 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 Scooby. All right, there we go. I've got some of the backdoor stuff done here. Little housekeeping, you know, all that stuff. Like, share, subscribe, la 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 la. Think about being a member. Although I haven't done a member stream or anything, I'm a bad host. Like everybody else, I'm trying to keep my life together, and maybe not doing the worst job, but maybe not doing the best job either. Today's topic: have you canceled someone today? It is our duty to the Uniparty to cancel each other. I'm minded of the old song from, I think it was Southwestern Bell Telephone or somebody. Reach out and cancel someone. All right, enough of that. You guys suffered enough with my singing last night. YouTube actually barely dinged me on that one. They just said that some of my stuff couldn't be played in other countries. They didn't demonetize it or anything. I'm shocked. I'm stunned. All right, before I dive into the topic, let's say hello to all you wonderful people in the chat. Because I did this last minute, there's only 4 people watching. My bad. But my favorite polar bear, maybe my favorite bear of all time, Snortopoopas, Coober, hello, humans and other critters. Hello back. If you were here and I didn't think you'd bite my arm off, I'd probably scratch you between the ears. But in real life, I'd be terrified and I don't know. Probably just be a snack. Connie Cleary, faithful birdwoman of YouTube, hail and well met. Hope you are doing well. Ruby doo. All right. Okay, end stream. That was enough. No. Scooby, 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 Scoob, 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 Scoob. Snortopoopas Q Burr says I don't bite much. That's what I say to most of the women I date. And I don't bite much. Okay. Today's topic. I lost somebody. I lost 3 people. Well, I don't blame any of them. As you see, my thumbnail, I desperately tried to make a good one and couldn't get the AI to cooperate. So finally, I was just like, screw it. These are the 2 people I'm talking about. One's old news, one's new-ish news. Jimmy Kimmel and all the stuff about, is he being canceled? Is he not being canceled? Is it Trump? Is it not Trump? Well, and now there's become a great big debate about cancel culture, and there's 2 prongs to it. One is, I'm going to define it this way: when our side does it, it's just consequences. It was just consequences of your speech. When the other side does it, no, that's taking away our right to free speech. You're trying to cancel us. You're being nefarious. You're being evil. That's point number 1. I may have already forgotten point number 2. Oh, yes, point number 2. I don't know if y'all remember this, but in our old English classes, and some of you may have had classes about logic. Logic? What are they teaching today in today's schools? There are some similarities, but there are also some vast differences between the 2 different kinds of cancellation, and it opens a whole great big can of worms. It's one of the reasons why I thought about taking the coward's way out and just not doing this, but I didn't get enough done today. And so my thought was, let's take the bull by the horns and go ahead and talk about this. Now, y'all already suffered. Well, you 2 may not have, but a lot of people suffered last night a lot from me singing karaoke. The reason I'm bringing that up is because while I don't know a lot of music was very important to me as a teenager. But my tastes in music, I have found, were distinctly different than the mainstreams, and for good and bad reasons. But my favorite group for, I would say, 15, close to 20 years was the Christian rock group Petra. Don't know if you're familiar with them or not. And welcome, Big Al Presents. Welcome, welcome. I will not be able to make it to Films with Friends tonight because people keep paying me money to do stuff, and unlike corporate America, I try to fulfill at least most of my end of the bargain. This channel is going to be doing a watch party, but I got to tell you guys, probably you're going to do better to watch Big Al's. Yeah, because my watch party is going to be of Jack Frost. No, not the famous Michael Keaton one. No, not the horror one either. The Russo-Finnish film riffed by Mystery Science Theater, Jack Frost. I know, Big Al, and I feel the same way. I kind of feel the same way. I love streaming. Don't get me wrong, but I've tried really hard not to compete, if you know what I mean, with you guys and Troy and Connie and Deleted. But when people pay me money, it's like, well, when can you do it? Because I want them to be able to see it. And so there it is. And the founder of the feast is off tonight at 9:30 Central, so that's when we're gonna do it. But God bless you, and hopefully, hopefully anyone that isn't at my stream is over there, and hopefully that's cool. I don't know. So feel free to leave a link, Big Al, and you know, may the best film win, which I already know which one that is. Okay, back to music. Yes, yes, Big Al. I will so do. I'll drop by, give you a thumbs up. I'll try to leave a comment if my life isn't too freaking busy. God help us all. Okay, this one I don't need. Anyway, so I'm bringing up that I did karaoke, and the reason I'm bringing up that is I'm not going to sing this song, but I think you guys need to hear the lyrics and understand that these are lyrics. They probably won't sound great to you, but they are actually deeply burned, maybe not quite into my subconscious, but they're actually a very deep part of my thinking and framework. Right or wrong, Petra music probably was as influential, if not more, to me than the Bible. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful to the Bible. I'm just trying to have full disclosure here that I'm a messed up person, and maybe my priorities have not always been the best. But here are the lyrics. They're kind of tongue in cheek. The song is called Witch Hunt. It starts with someone doing the voice to the Wicked Witch of the West saying, "How about a little fire, Scarecrow?" And I won't sing them, but I will speak the words. So you kind of get where I'm going with some of this. Everybody look, there's a new bandwagon in town. Hop on board, let the wind carry you around. Seems like there's not enough to keep us busy till the Lord comes back. Don Quixote's got to have another windmill to attack. And this is the refrain. We're on another witch hunt, looking for evil wherever we can find it. Off on a tangent. Hope the Lord won't mind it. Another witch hunt, taking a break from all our gospel labor on a crusade, but we forgot our saber. And then I won't read the refrain again, but the other verses are, there's a new way to spend all our energies. We're up in arms instead of down on our knees, walking over dollars, trying to find another dime. Never mind the souls, because we really haven't got the time. And then the ending is a really fun thing. It's got people in the background saying all kinds of just fun, goofy stuff. I don't think they have it in the lyrics, but it's like, actually, they do. They have some of it. Okay. So, anyway, the next stanza, send out the dogs and tally ho. Before we sleep tonight, we've got miles to go. No one is safe. No stone is left unturned. And we won't stop till somebody gets burned. Brothers. And then the end is just them singing Witch Hunt with people saying goofy crap in the back. I'll get you, my little pretty, and your little dog, too. Look under all the rocks and all the trees. Look everywhere. We won't rest till we find that old witch. And there's other things that people are saying, but that gives you an idea. Believe it or not, I'm dropping my money all over the floor. No, believe it or not, Just silly little things like this kind of kept me sane when I was a teenager. This was I think this was the first or nearly the first album that anyone ever gave me. My sister gave me this tape for some holiday or other. It was either my 12th birthday or Christmas. And I haven't listened to it in ages, but those lyrics, the lyrics and the spirit of it have just stuck in my mind. And it's one of the reasons why I'm the way I am. I would rather, even though I don't know exactly what I believe anymore, but I would rather be doing God's work. I would rather be helping people as jumping on the horse metaphorically and trying to hunt you down and hurt you because you're different than me. All right. Yes, Big Al, Queen and Meatloaf. I didn't sing any Meatloaf. I should have. I should have done that. But I was in a tongue-in-cheek mood, not a melodramatic mood. Although Meatloaf can be pretty fun too. Okay, what do I want to start with? I think what I want to start with is I'm going to go back in time a little bit. Accounting sheep, ahoy! One of the things that I've been taught, partly from this song and partly from other things, is that we should have empathy for other people. Now, I'm not as keen on that as I used to be. And one of the reasons for that, there are places in here where I'm going to be personal, as you can tell. I was personal with the song. And by the way, Accounting Sheep, thank you so much for your generosity. You're amazing. You're incredible. And, I'm kind of sorry that you missed the lyrics to the song, but you know what? You heard enough of my goofy music last night. There's a scene from Once Upon a Time. My favorite character in Once Upon a Time is Rumpelstiltskin. Believe it or not, he's the one that I identify with the most. Everything comes with a price. Um, I don't want to be like the people who are keen on villains, but once in a while, a villain just gets it right. And it's not that you root for him, I hope. It's not that you want him to succeed. You want him to either change or die, one of the two. But you look at him and you think, oh, there but for the grace of God go I. And there's several villains like that for me. One is the Joker, one is Rumpelstiltskin. And I bring up Rumpelstiltskin because one time a material component he used for a spell was a tear that somebody had shed for love. And there's a powerful metaphor here. I personally believe that Once Upon a Time was essentially the very nearly the end, possibly the end of Disney creativity. They got some really powerful stuff in those first two seasons. And this was very powerful. Evil people, broken people, cowardly, weak people weaponize empathy. They weaponize your love for them or for anything else. They see, and I know I probably sound like I'm demonizing, but I've found this to be very painfully true. They see love as a weakness. They see your love for others as a weakness. And they will do anything they can to exploit it. This is why we cancel people. Because we're cowards, because we are afraid, because we don't love other people enough. And we look at people who are able to keep loving in spite of horrible things happening, and we realize we can't be as strong as them. So instead, we have to tear them down. We have to destroy them. We have to completely undo them. And yes, accounting sheep, I do not doubt that this is all sounding very familiar to you. I wish it didn't, but I'm sure it does. I'm going to start then with the material, with not really the beginning, but for me, where I want to begin it, if I can get my internet to work. And I'm going to use one of the left sources because, not because I want to use it against them, but because I want the leftists to understand this is not necessarily, entirely anyway, an us versus you thing. People on the right do it too. We'll get there. So AP News, this was way back. This is not news at all. Although evidently it was updated in June of 14 of 2024. But the AP, what we know about the fight between conspiracist Alex Jones and Sandy Hook families over his assets. I had a soft spot in my heart for Alex Jones for a long time, and then I decided he was freaking crazy, and now I've decided that maybe he was freaking crazy, but maybe he's recovering. I won't go too deeply into all that, but I think all of you remember he said that Sandy Hook was probably a conspiracy. This has been one of the cruxes of my argument against people who say that October the 7th in Israel was a conspiracy, that the Trump unalivement attempt was a conspiracy. To me, you either have to give the same weight to the words Alex Jones says, or you have to admit that all of that is a bunch of balderdash. Either that or you got to give me a lot better receipts than people are giving me. So I'll read a little bit of it here. Bombastic, great reporting there, guys. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones has been ordered to liquidate his personal assets as he owes $1.5 billion for his false claims that the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School banging, which unalived 20 first graders and 6 educators in Newton, Connecticut, was a hoax. Side note, I'm kind of surprised nobody has come up with them unaliving Charlie Kirk was a hoax. And it's probably out there. I just haven't heard it yet. Some of my conspiracy theorist friends are getting more quiet as time goes by. Maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I don't know. But the immediate future of his InfoWars media platform and the money behind the business that enriched Jones and connected him to far-right figures, celebrities, and politicians remains uncertain. The federal bankruptcy judge who ordered the asset liquidation Friday, so this was way back however long ago. I know it was before 2024. Either that or this year's been way the hell longer than I thought it was. Also dismissed a separate bankruptcy case involving InfoWars' parent company, Free Speech Systems. Before the hearing, a combative Jones predicted the end of InfoWars could be very soon. They're turning the frogs gay. And the website breathlessly warned that day could be its last broadcast. But he was smiling as he left hours later, calling in to an InfoWars show to say, the bizarre political attempts to hijack the operation have failed. The fight over Jones' assets reached this point after he and Free Speech Systems filed for bankruptcy protection in 2022. Okay, so, yeah. That came as relatives of many victims of the Sandy Hook shooting won defamation lawsuit judgments of more than $1.4 billion in Connecticut and $49 million in Texas. Does anyone else see a difference there? Just asking a question. Tell me what you think. Here are some things to know about Jones and Sandy Hook's family's efforts to force him to pay. Who is Alex Jones? What is InfoWars? I won't go into that because I think most of you know who he is. If you want me to, I can. The long and the short of it is I liked Alex Jones for two reasons when I did. One was the first time I attempted to blog, he was probably, there were two big names that actually cited me because that website used to tell you when somebody cited you. I loved it. They don't do that anymore. That's why I don't really use it that much anymore. But it was cool to see that somebody cited you. They actually thought enough of your stuff, even if they were trying to repudiate it. They thought enough of your stuff to talk about it. Alex Jones was one. The other one was Real Clear Politics, which used to be very centrist, and I guess is, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with some of these people. Anyway, I stopped liking him after the Sandy Hook thing, and then I got to admit that his recent little tribute that he did to Charlie Kirk was really cogent, really sane, really down to earth, really heartfelt. Maybe the guy is sobering up. I don't know. I'm not saying that to like trash him either. I know I've watched too many people try to get sober. It's hard. It's tough. Let me look at the chat, see what you all are saying. People are being quiet. I don't know if you're listening or if you've just finally lost patience. Snortapupus, I know some folks whose tinfoil hats get pretty good reception, but I don't follow Alex Jones, or you don't know about Alex Jones. Alex Jones, man, he's crazy, but I wonder if the article talks about this. Okay, so I guess since you don't know much about him, I'll go ahead and share more about him. I think it was a month before September 11. Please, if anyone remembers, correct me. I want to get this right, but it was a short time before the September 11 attacks. He predicted that those towers were going to come down, and they did. This was another reason why I liked him, because you know how Babe Ruth had the record for most home runs? Well, he also had the record for most strikeouts. This is an analogy to Alex Jones. When he has some crazy ideas that the whole turning the frogs gay thing. Well, I mean, okay, whatever. But then like he'll nail something perfectly. So personally, I think this is one of the reasons why he became so famous. We want some kind of a prophet. We want someone who can tell us what's going to happen. And there were just a small handful of times when he not only got things right, he got them spectacularly right. But then he would say goofy crap like, they're turning the frogs gay, and the Sandy Hook murders, those were all fake. That was a conspiracy. They're just coming for our guns. But I'll read a little bit about Alex Jones for you, Snortopoopus. Just not, you may not even want to know, but um, he's spouted conspiracy theories ranging from September 11 terror attacks, which his first one was that was going to happen. I'm just pointing that out, and it happened. But anyway, they don't count that one. They count just the whole the September 11 attacks were staged. Won't get into that here. To a purported UN effort regarding world depopulation. Jones had just finished high school in Austin. He started broadcasting on a public access television channel in the 90s. Your tired blogger at the same time was just getting sick. Anyway, after getting fired from a local radio station, he began broadcasting from home via his InfoWars website. He was one of the very first of the internet, type creators. Jones still hosts a daily 4-hour talk show on the site. Interview guests, anyway, he's talked to Tucker Carlson a lot. He's talked to Russell Brand a lot. Whether that hurts his reputation to you or helps. I was in a very dark patch toward the end of my marriage, and I was listening to him a lot because he had a lot of end of the world stuff, and I was in such a dark frame of mind that the idea that the world was ending was comforting to me. By the way, this is one of the reasons why I have gotten so intently worried until I finally gave up for my liberal friends, because I felt like they were in a very similar dark place because they were spouting similar things that Jones had spouted. It was just left wing instead of right wing. I tried to help and I failed, and that's probably my bad. So now I blog instead because I'm a jerk. From just 2 employees in 2004, so it took a good decade for him to get up to 2 employees. Jones grew his business into a media empire, had a 60-person staff by 2010. Court records show his company has 4 Austin studios and warehouse for products he sells online, such as dietary supplements with names like InfoWars Life Brain Force Plus and Life Super Male Vitality. Much of his revenue came from those sales. Both Jones and lawyers for the Sandy Hook family said they expect InfoWars to cease operations at some point because of the huge debt he now owes them. Reference back $1.4 billion to Connecticut. Now, I want to ask a question. You may not be able to divorce all the stuff you've been hearing about Charlie Kirk, but oh, dang it. Hold on, guys. Yes, Alex Jones was calling me and telling me he wants me to work for him because I'm just crazy enough. No, that was work. But anyway, so there we go. Kapla, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Hail and well met. Glory to you and your house. I'm talking about Alex Jones, how he was canceled, how he was sued, and how the court awarded Sandy Hook families $1.4 billion with a B dollars. And I'm asking the question, was that right? And whether it was right or not, isn't that pretty much canceling him? And check X after the stream. Okay, I'm getting a to-do list here. Check X after stream. So I've got a computer thing to do for work, and then I'm going to change. Yes, gorillas, pounds chest. I am a gorilla, and they're turning the frogs gay. It's my favorite Alex Jones thing to say. He got blanking fine more than the blanking GDP of France. Of GDP of France. Yes. I don't know about 1.3 trillion, but at least according to this article, which who knows, because there's more than one fine. But this article, the AP, who as we all know, is always accurate, always balanced, and never lies. 1.4 billion was to be paid to Sandy Hook families in Connecticut, and evidently there were families in Texas, which I'm kind of scratching my head about. They were awarded 49 million. I also wanted to point out there's a subtle difference there. Let's assume he was a billionaire. I don't know what his company was worth, but let's just, for grins and giggles, say it was worth $1 billion. Well, he could afford to pay 49 million. It would hurt a little, but he could pay it. 1.4 billion. I don't mean to do your thinking for you, but I'm just going to come out and say it. That is canceling him. That isn't just fining him. That isn't just punishing him. That is taking away his livelihood and making sure, or trying to make sure, that he never speaks again. And that's my question to you. I accept that he was wrong to say what he said. I'm willing to accept. I don't know that I agree with it, but I'm for the sake of argument, I'm willing to accept that he should have paid some kind of a penalty. But should he have had the rest of his life ruined because he said something stupid? Well, it was hurtful. I know it was hurtful. I'm not saying it wasn't. I feel empathy for those families, but again, empathy is all too often weaponized against us. I feel that they should be rewarded. I feel that he should be punished. He should never speak again. Yes, accounting. $1 billion with a B for hurting some feels. And you may be right about the trillion. I just don't know about that. I don't know about that. But you may be right, because there's I did not know about the 49 million in Texas. There could be more, for all I know. Hell, maybe everybody in the United States is supposed to get a few bucks from him. I assume that most of the money went to the USAID, but that's just my own conspiracy theory. That's all it is. Gorillas, my favorite clip from Alex Jones that I use on my stream was when he was on Joe Rogan, and he said, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded. I loved that interview. They found only 24 minutes about Sandy Hook. I'm pretty sure everything was out of context. He streams 3 hours a day and then went back 12 years. All they could find is 24 minutes out of thousands of hours. Okay, so again, 24 minutes. Here, where's my calculator? I should be able to do the math in my head, but I don't, because I'm a jerk. Where are you at? 24. Divided by, we'll say 10,000. So 0.24% of all the things he said, right? He should have the whole rest of his life taken away because of some minutes of really goofy crap that for online I don't, I'll never know because I won't dig enough into it. Ha! I got Curtis to say a naughty. Yeah, well, y'all paid me a lot yesterday, so I'm in a generous mood. Y'all were generous to me, so um, I guess let me know if y'all want to know any more about Alex Jones because I'm willing to move on to the next one. But that's the whole deal. He had Infowars. He talked a bunch of stuff about conspiracy theories. He made some claims that basically that Sandy Hooks was a hoax. And gorillas, you and I both know that there's people out there, every blankety blank thing is a hoax. My math ain't matching. 24 minutes out of thousands of dollars isn't 0.24. Maybe not. I took 10,000 and divided it by 24. It's like 0.24% is what I meant. Sorry. See how easy things are to take out of stuff, especially when especially when you're kind of retarded. 24 minutes out of, yeah, and I'm not converting the minutes to hours, so it's even less than that probably. Anyway, tiny fraction of all the things that he said we should take away his livelihood. And maybe you think that is right. Please let me know in the chat. I'm not meaning to bully anybody into thinking they have to agree with me, though I am no longer in a place where I won't debate you at least a little bit if I think that you're wrong. So now let's fast forward. As all of us know, Charlie Kirk, I don't want to get too deeply into this. He was a person who would go out and he would have debates, and maybe you agreed with him, maybe you disagreed with him. The point is, I can't help but go to the thing that he said that I really wanted to kind of steal for this channel. But when we stop talking, that's when the bad things happen. It's when violence happens. Well, let's see what Enigma Severus is here saying. What if I don't want you to know, big boy? I'm not sure I understand that, but you know what? Welcome. Hope you are doing well. Okay, so Gorilla's saying it's more like 0.0000, many zeros. It's very, very tiny. The point is, and yours may be closer, but it's a very tiny fraction of all the things he said. Now, of course, I'm going to counter with this, although I actually agree more with you, but I know that the left is going to say, well, but all the things he said were crazy and mean and hateful and not based off of facts at all. And he lied. He lied so much. And he's kind of retarded. All right. But we've got Charlie Kirk, and he was not this way. He at least made, I think, massive efforts to base his stuff on facts. Maybe he got some of them wrong. I don't know. Please let me know if you know of any facts that he got wrong. But he actually was trying to debate people and was trying to debate them as human beings. And he was not trying to demonize them. I will suggest that sometimes Alex Jones was too capable of descending into demonizing people. He said lots of horrible things about the Clintons, about Obama, maybe some of them were justified, but then I'm sure the left thinks some of the things they say about Charlie Kirk is justified. So, Gorillas is about to say something. I may sound like a butthole for saying this, but I'm going to say it. But before he can say it, Enigma says usually when the left is speaking, they have no evidence to back up their words, which is why the method of argument is to speak loudly and never let someone demonstrate and explain facts. They unalive the nice one. So now you get Milo. Buckle up, Buttercup. I need to look Milo up because I don't know much about him. Don't know much about Milo. While Charlie Kirk was doing his thing, while Alex Jones was basically fighting for his right to survive, lots of cancellations going on. And I hope it's not too melodramatic to remind people that while I wasn't canceled, I had to fight like hell to get monetized. So I kind of have a little bit of an idea, since we're supposed to be so damned empathetic, of how some of these people feel. And my friends on the left, one of the reasons why you've kind of lost me is you have all this empathy for all these people in Hollywood. You have all this empathy for illegal aliens. You have all of this empathy for people who would take away all of your rights, but your friend who is trying to do something here, well, you know, they were silencing him because he's stupid. Well, I hope you'll understand. I don't feel very happy about that at all. I'm going back to the Twitter files. I won't read them because I've talked about them before. But this was where it was revealed that there was massive censorship going on under the Biden administration, and that they were using big tech companies to do their censoring. And the proof is all right there. Just read it. So, anyway, years and years and years, you lost your position in the military because you had a position about the jab. You lost your position in a school. You lost your license to nurse. You were fired from the California Fire Department. You were fired from the New York Police Department. But there were all these bodies piling up. Respectfully, one, yeah, a lot of bodies pile up in cities. I don't mean to be flippant, but they do. And two, you talk about all the stuff being photoshopped on the right, but you don't entertain the possibility that it is so on the left as well. Because I personally didn't see a bunch of bodies. I know that there were people affected, yes. I personally knew 0 people, literally 0 people who passed away. I knew people who knew people, but I didn't have a single loss. So to compare it to the Black Death, where 1 person in 4 and sometimes more passed away, or to the Spanish flu, where you would have known someone. There literally were bodies piled up. You can look at the photographs. Well, that could have been Photoshop. Yeah, but it was a little harder to do back then. All right. Cancel, cancel, cancel. We've had a big cancel culture, and I would suggest that about 90% of it has been on the right until. Let's go back to the chat. Enigma Severus Thomas Sowell once said, one of the consequences of such notions as entitlements is that people who have contributed nothing to society feel that society owes them something. And this, I know I'm kind of relying on society now, but this is where I don't ever want to end up. I still want to contribute as best as I can. I know I'm asking for money, but I'm also at least trying to give you some kind of value for it. Probably not doing a great job, but I don't want to be one of these jerks. It's like, I deserve it. No, I don't deserve it. I need to earn it. And if I can't earn it, at the very least, I can appreciate it and not say, well, you're bad people because you don't give more. Or don't say, I hate this country because I don't get everything my way. Gorillas, my latest stream, and I watched it. It's one of the reasons why I did this one. My latest stream, or maybe I didn't, but I watched one of your later ones. I watched one that you did this morning. Gorilla's latest stream had to ask, in the same speech, people could scream free speech and censorship when Kimmel was canceled, but then call for Chris Pratt, yes, to be censored, fired, and deplatformed. Why does Chris Pratt need to be censored, fired, and deplatformed? And can I point out that Kimmel, he may be being fired, and I guess by some people's definition, he's being censored, but he's not deplatformed. He can go on here anytime, and I'm sure YouTube will be happy to hear all of his incredibly funny jokes and terribly salient. I said that with a straight face. His terribly salient commentary and his wonderfully informing content. Enigma Severus, the left honestly believe they're entitled to be obeyed. And I think Enigma nails something on the head here. They're entitled to be obeyed. It's not enough to keep your damn mouth shut like I did. And I think this is why my friends on the left would lose patience with me and thought that I didn't notice it, but I did, because I'm like an overly sensitive person. It's not enough to shut your mouth. You have to agree, you have to obey. Otherwise, you're the villain. You're the bad guy. You're an Alex Jones. The left know they were wrong, but they'll continue down this road because pride. That used to be the greatest sin. Now it's the greatest virtue. Which one is true? Or is there some truth to both of it? Is there a positive kind of pride and a negative kind of pride? Anyway, it won't let them admit that they are wrong. Gorillas, Enigma is responding to you. Rules for thee, not for me. Gorillas is saying I'm providing a service. I'm trying to. I don't know. I hope I am. That's my hope. Charlie was unalived at 12:23. Look up John 12:23. Usually I regret doing this, but let's go ahead and do that. John 12:23. I've been around you enough, gorillas. I don't think you're completely wacko. So, okay, whether or not this is relevant or not, it is a strange coincidence. John 12:23. Jesus replied, "The hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified." Now, I know there's probably someone out there that's like, Curtis, you virtually canceled someone because they used a Bible quote that you didn't like. I am inconsistent. I don't know that this one's relevant, but it does kind of give me goosebumps. And I suppose that's the human in us. The Bible verse that supports my belief system gives me goosebumps. And the one that annoys the crap out of me because I can't understand how it's got anything to do with the debate, that one makes me kind of stop talking to someone. But Gorillas believes that there's something in it. And you know what? I'm not going to say there is or isn't. But yeah, like there, it is an odd thing. It is an odd thing. So Charlie Kirk was unalived, and obviously there's been strong reaction on both sides. I'm going to be a little bit unfair here. Gorillas, you pointed out to me that the right has gone too far in some of their rhetoric. Please forgive me, I'm going to be unfair on this one. I'm not going to point that out unless somebody in the stream wants to call me out, and then we can dig into that. But there's just been some crazy crap. No, this is not the one that I wanted to share. Let me go here. Yes. No. Maybe. Dag nabbit. The internet just makes me really irritated. All right. One of my friends has a sweet cat, and that's actually awesome. That really is. But it's not what I wanted to show. Why did it go away? Here we go. Let's see if this is the one.
It's not illegal to say Charlie deserved to die and you're glad he did. They have a right to say that, but we have a right to fire you. You can't walk into the office and say you're into homicide. You can't work at CNN and tweet, I'm comfortable with cold-blooded murder. More people need to be killed. Speech is free, but you're not free from the consequences. If you're glad Charlie's dead and thought he had it coming, I'm supposed to sit next to you in the break room? You're going to teach my kid at school or serve in government? And I'm supposed to just say, free speech. You're advertising that you're a maniac and that you have no decency, compassion, or humanity, that you're indifferent to death. And not just indifferent.
All right. That was not the one I was trying to look up. So, haha, I had it all put there. Now it just disappeared. Thank you, internet. All right. Let's see here. I don't know if I can find it or not. It's like I had it all pulled up. If I was a conspiracy theorist, I would say YouTube didn't want me to share it, but I had a thing. Okay, this was it. This was it, I think. Okay, maybe. Here we go, I think. I'm going to play this one.
It's just absolutely terrifying to see this rise of extreme far left violence. We've seen this with.
Nope. Maybe this one.
Influential conservative activist Charlie Kirk was assassinated during a campus speaking event in Utah. President Trump announced Kirk's death in a post on Truth Social, writing, "The great and even legendary."
Gonna skip that.
Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. While many social media users expressed their heartbreak and horror at Kirk's passing, thousands of sick users also flooded social media to celebrate the passing of the co-founder of Turning Point USA. Disturbing reactions ranged from mocking memes to outright cheering.
Clap if you care. All right, let's move on.
One user shared a video of herself dancing with a caption that read, "Charlie Kirk was just shot in the neck. This is cause for celebration." Others have shared images showing party balloons and memes with phrases like "rest in piss." The popular X account, Libs of TikTok, posted a disturbing compilation of people openly mocking Kirk's death. The post called out the deranged leftists as pure evil. Kirk was a father of two who boasted millions of followers and billions of views for videos in which he would engage in fiery debates with students on college campuses.
All right, maybe that was it.
There are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot. Well, breaking fucking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at one of the Fantafast's favorite 5 mile wide mouthpieces, Charles Chucklefuck Kirk.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
And goodness knows the wicked's lives are lonely.
Okay, that wasn't the one that I actually wanted to show, but I think it makes the point. People celebrated. And then the right had a bunch of reactions. Again, I'm going to be a little bit unfair. A lot of people got fired. A lot of people got canceled. And one of my heroes, Ron Paul, I haven't listened to his video, but he made a good point. We can't complain about cancel culture and then turn around and cancel people. What do you think about that? Is that so? And also, is this the same thing? Or is it people getting, I wish I could find the video I wanted to share. Let's see. I'm going to try one more time. No, I know where it's at. I know exactly where it's at. I say I do. Profile. Too much crap on my video feed. No, it's not here either. I really hate the internet sometimes. I really, really do. Okay. I think this is it. So, Jimmy Kimmel, as you know, he got canceled, and Fallon got canceled, or not Fallon. Colbert got canceled, although that was before. And a lot of people are saying this is Trump, this is censorship. And I would be fine with that, except the very same people, with a handful of exceptions, didn't care two craps about what was going on from 2020 to 2024. They didn't care that people were canceled for their opinions. They didn't care that they were canceled for things that we, I hope, all agree are free speech. It's like that Fox News reporter there was saying, you have the right to say, you really do. You have the right to say that you are glad that Charlie Kirk has passed. I can vociferously disagree with you, but you do have the right to say that. But as that Fox News reporter pointed out, I don't have to keep listening to you. So is there a difference, or is it the same thing? If I am saying, well, that EMFer said he was glad Charlie Kirk is gone, so I'm not going to listen to him anymore, is that the same cancellation? And I'm just asking that question. I don't know that I have the answer, but it's one of the reasons why I'm doing this stream. Is there a difference, or is it the same thing? Or is it maybe perhaps the same thing on the extremes, but not the same thing toward the center? Accounting sheep. The left made the new rules. I no longer care what happens to any of them. And I'm going to admit, I feel the same way. Is it right for me to feel that way? Or am I in the wrong? And, feelings really aren't hopefully what we're basing too much on. But as far as my heart goes, again, full disclosure, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I totally agree with you. I don't give a crap about Kimmel. I don't give a crap about Kimmel. I don't give a crap about Colbert. They had several years with multi-million-dollar salaries. Cry me a freaking river. All right. And John Potterero. Howdy, howdy, howdy. We've been talking about cancel culture, how at least some form of it happens on both sides. And there's a certain degree of it's wrong on both sides, but there's also a certain degree of Matt Cheatwood was the one that really put it best to me. If you're playing a game of chess with someone and then they stand up and slap you in the face, we're no longer talking about chess. We're talking about a totally different thing. Let's I think I've found the reel that I really wanted to share with you guys. I think it's just that there's more buttons than I thought there were. God dang you, internet.
He'd be taken off the air indefinitely.
Okay.
And this is just the latest chapter.
Okay. So we have Bumfuzzle here with CNN, Chris Hayes. On the left, he's talking about when Tucker Carlson was fired for saying the things he said. On the right, or maybe it's the other way around. On the right, you have Tucker Carlson, what he said about Tucker Carlson. On the left, what he said about Jimmy Kimmel. And this gentleman here, some cool black dude on Facebook. I don't know who he is, but he's got wonderful eyebrows. He's comparing the two, and again, maybe it's all out of context, but I think he's making a wonderful point. This is what the left is saying now about Kimmel and about Colbert and about others.
ABC made the announcement Kimmel would indeed be taken off the air indefinitely. And this is just the latest chapter in Donald Trump's ongoing campaign to crack down on free speech, dominate the media, and essentially render the First Amendment meaningless. So it was for the journeyman cable news host Tucker Carlson, just fired from his third.
Okay. Outrage, anger, claims that the government's doing this. And, for all I know, maybe it is. I would love for someone to show me some receipts, as I've kind of done for the last year or so on this channel about the Dems, but maybe there are some receipts to be had. Maybe I'm naive and Trump is doing the exact same thing that the Biden administration did. But what was the same person saying when it was Tucker Carlson about a year or two ago?
Network. He believed he could say anything, no matter how vile, no matter how disgusting, no matter how offensive, no matter dehumanizing or belittling. And if you act like a sociopath over and over and over and over, you will become unpopular on the national stage. That's just like a basic principle. Over time, probably not going to work out well for you in the long run. Eventually, people will be rightly offended, disgusted.
So when Tucker Carlson gets fired from the network, he's, hateful and crazy and vile and all these things. But when Jimmy Kimmel lies about a political assassination and misrepresents the person who did it and works to lead people to believe that it was Republicans who did it, it's fine. It's Trump's cracking down on free speech. So to keep it simple, when someone on the left gets fired for their words, it's a crackdown on free speech. When someone on the right gets fired for their words, they deserved it. They had it coming. You can't just continue to do these things and expect nothing to happen. That's what you get. These people are not principled. The whole point is oppose Donald Trump. Make Donald Trump and the right look bad. That's why you see his position flopping so much. It's not about being principled. It's about attacking the right. It's about making Donald Trump look bad. I mean, that's MSDNC for you. Not to mention, Jimmy Kimmel's numbers were continuously declining. They were probably looking at doing this anyway. This just gave him a good reason to do so. But I just want to point out the hypocrisy. And this is part of the reason why so many people hate Donald Trump and the right. Look at the difference in coverage. When someone on the right loses their position, they deserved it. When someone on the left loses their position, it's because Donald Trump is cracking down on your First Amendment rights.
ABC.
And we have demonstrable proof that the Biden administration really and truly was doing that. And if you don't believe it, please watch my videos. Please read the Taibbi files. And if you can't be bothered to do that, then please don't come debate me, because I don't care who you are. I won't have any patience for you. I'm tired of having patience for people. I don't mean to be horrible, but my empathy has run out. I know I'm probably sound like I'm flim-flamming here, but I've been over backward for 40 years to try to see the other side. And mostly all I've ever gotten was that I was stupid, my sources are bad, I'm just naive, I'm this, I'm that. But hardly any of these people ever turn the mirror back on themselves. Yes, accounting sheep, it turned into civil chess. Precisely. Oh, John has sent me a quote of Kimmel's. I bet this is worthy of attention. Let me get this. So many. Okay. John Pontorero. His name is John Pontorero. All right. No, this is perfect. So Jimmy, on Roseanne Barr's tweet, because I don't remember what it was, but she tweeted something and she lost her show. ABC, to their credit, this is a direct quote from Jimmy. I would share it, but well, you know what? Go ahead. Let's go ahead and share it, because I think I've got all the stuff I wanted out of that Facebook platform. I'm not very fond of Facebook after 4 or 5 years of canceling half of the things that I or my friends wanted to say, sometimes on the other side. ABC, to their credit, didn't waste any time. They canceled her show today. I'm not a fan of censorship, but this wasn't about free speech. It was about consequences for saying something vile. You can say what you want, but networks don't have to pay you to say it. You can't just blame Ambien for that. Actions have consequences, and ABC made the right call. 2 more things of content that I want to share, and then I'll either call it a stream or we'll dive into some other things. I do want to point out I have a poll. I did have a poll, didn't I? Did I not put up that poll? Dag nabbit, never mind. Just never mind. I don't know how much of this is the internet and how much of it is just me. A samurai never blames his weapons. So, 3 things I want to share. I know this is one of Troy Pacelli's favorite sources. I know I had this pulled up. So, Jimmy Kimmel canceled. This is that Park Place. Because maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm using a bad source for all I know, but I don't think so. Freaking no results found because I can't spell. Kimmel. I cannot spell canceled. I had that pulled up too. You know what? I'm going to skip it. Anyway, let's see what he said. What did Jimmy Kimmel say about Charlie Kirk? Bill Mayer says Jimmy Kimmel was wrong. Here's what Jimmy Kimmel said. Here, we'll use a left-leaning. Well, I don't know that they're that left-leaning. Is it the New York Times or the New York Post? Isn't so left-leaning. It's the New York Times. I've got to get some good antivirus stuff. I had some good antivirus stuff, and then it got laid off. I couldn't keep the subscription. And then all of a sudden things start going wonky. Imagine that. So here's what he said according to the New York Post. His words are, "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang trying to characterize this kid who killed Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, the White House flew the flag at half staff, which got some criticism, but on a human level, you can see how hard the president was taking this. The show then cut to a clip of President Trump being questioned by a reporter outside the White House, where he was asked how he was holding up in the wake of Kirk's assassination. The commander-in-chief said, "I think very good," then changed the subject to renovations being done to the White House ballroom before cutting back to Kimmel. "He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction," the late night host quipped. This is again Kimmel's words. "This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?" So now that you've heard the words, maybe you guys probably have already heard it before. I hadn't. I had not looked it up. The only part I knew about was the whole, the first sentence was the only part I knew about. How do you feel about those words? And I know, again, feelings are not as important as facts, but when you hear those words, how do you feel? Maybe you think it was funny, and that's okay. I'm not quite down that path of, blaming someone for thinking something's funny. And he does have the right to say it. Does he have the right to have a show? There's nothing in the Constitution that says you have a right to a show. It says you have the freedom of speech. He has the freedom to say this, but he does not have a right not to be canceled, as CNN so saliently pointed out about Tucker Carlson. Kimmel then doubled down, sharing that it wasn't the first time since Kirk's murder that Trump redirected a question about the Turning Point USA founder back to the White House ballroom. The show then cut to a clip on Trump on Fox and Friends 2 days after Kirk's death, explaining he was going over the renovations with the architects when he got the news before cutting back to Kimmel. "And then we installed the most beautiful chandelier," Kimmel said, mocking the president. All right, let's see what you guys' responses are. Accounting sheep. "Now, if we're following their precedent, we should be suing them for $1 billion for their hateful words, right? I'm good with that. Yeah. Or rioting in the streets or something. LDG, free the net. Hey, howdy. Welcome. Yes, let me write a note there. My mind's not working real great today. LDG, free the net, DM. All right. 3 things to do. Okay. Well, there was blowback to this, as you all know. Kimmel's off-key controversial comments led to significant backlash in the wake of Kirk's unaliving after the conservative activist was shot dead. Yeah, I said the word dead. I'm sorry, YouTube. On the campus of Utah Valley University on Orem, Utah, on September 10. In response to the outrage, ABC announced it was pulling the comedian's late night talk show off the air indefinitely. Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely. Well, we already heard that. Next Star Media Group, the major broadcast company that serves as a primary affiliate for ABC, confirmed that it would preempt Kimmel's program in the wake of his remarks. It's one of the things I was trying to get from that Park Place. That Park Place was making the argument that one of the primary reasons he was being pulled was because, well, there were two reasons. The numbers were bad, and their biggest affiliate was pulling him. And their biggest affiliate was pulling him because advertisers were clamoring and saying, hey, we want to cancel our contracts, or we don't want to renew our contracts because we don't like what he said. So you may have to look that up yourselves, because I evidently don't have the intelligence to get that article pulled up. The company's owned and partner television stations affiliated with the ABC television network will preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future, beginning with tonight's show. Next Star strongly objects to recent comments made by Mr. Kimmel concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk and will replace the show with other programming, and so on and so on. Some lady who had sextuplets. Wow. Okay. I'm going to be a little bit guilty of doing your thinking for you. Probably most of you are already smart enough to think of this, and in fact, Accounting Sheep already hinted at it. So Alex Jones says that there's a conspiracy. As far as I know, he does it without any facts. As far as I know, there's a conspiracy. Sandy Hook was a conspiracy. It didn't really happen. It was a staged setup, and he is fined well over $1 billion. Jimmy Kimmel says this stuff, and we're going to say that the president was somehow conniving to have him pulled. Now, here's my question. Did he send emails to big tech companies and say, hey, pull his stuff? Maybe he did, but I would like to see the receipts. Did he threaten people at the big three stations? Okay, arguably, he's got some lawsuits going on, so maybe he did. But let me do a comparison. So we have Alex Jones saying that somebody hired somebody who had to be willing to die to go get guns and pew-pews and go through a school and shoot a bunch of people, and that this was paid for and done by the Democrat Party so we could get their guns without receipts. Now you are saying, if I'm understanding this right, the left is saying that Trump hired a Republican, because everybody seems to insist that it was a Republican, to go shoot Charlie Kirk, and now he's deliberately using that to take down all the comedians that are against him. The same people who have said that Trump is the dumbest person alive is now giving him Mephistophelian intelligence. He had to know that this guy would be willing to shoot Charlie Kirk. He had to know that the right would be vastly outraged. I mean, I'm surprised at the outrage I feel. I didn't see it coming. I didn't think I would feel this way, but I am. he had to know that the comedians would say these things. He had to know that we would react with all of this vitriol. He had to know that we would cancel him and he wouldn't have to do a thing. So which one? I have two questions. If Alex Jones can say a very simple thing, but he's a conspiracy theory moron, let's use Occam's razor. What's easier, to make all these assumptions that make Trump look like a DC Marvel supervillain, or a simple somebody in the deep state and the Democrat Party hired one guy to pew pew a bunch of people? But we accept, and I do, don't get me wrong, we accept that what Alex Jones said is crazy and insane, but this other thing that is several orders of magnitude more complicated is just so. Maybe so. But again, I can't help but go to Alex Jones had his livelihood taken away, or at least they tried to take it away. Jimmy Kimmel, he Tucker Carlson's doing very well on the internet. Don Lemon is on the internet. So Jimmy Kimmel, he will have a platform. He can, I'm very certain, YouTube may not like me, but YouTube will be very happy to let Jimmy Kimmel spout all of his stuff and live happily ever after. All right. Let's go crazy. Let's see what's going on in the chat. John Ponerera, I'm sure he has a contract. It's been suggested his show is losing a ton of money for the network. The ratings were tanking. Oh, let's not forget that Trump had to be brilliant enough to know that their ratings would tank. I think it's the network taking an opportunity to cut its losses, which that's, again, maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm just listening to the party propaganda. That is my thought on Kimmel and Colbert. You know, the political climate has changed, but between the political climate changing and the numbers being terrible, those companies, they're there to make a profit, and these shows aren't making a profit. And I wish I could have gotten that Park Place to pull up because it had the receipts. Gorilla's random thoughts. Whatever happened to prove me wrong where people could have proved him wrong? Yeah. Gorilla's LDG, you want me, do you want on tomorrow's stream? Accounting sheep, you really want to know what I think? Hell yeah, I want to know what you think. I think canceling isn't enough. I want him sued. I want him broke. I want him forever unemployable. I want him too embarrassed to leave the house ever again. And you see, that's, I don't know if I'm quite there, but I'm getting there. Because that's what they wanted, in my opinion. That's what they wanted to do to us. John Ponerero agrees with you. And like I say, I'm not quite there, but I'm awfully close. Let's just say that I 100% understand why you would feel this way. LDG, let's see what you have to say. What's messed up? Unless I didn't hear the whole thing, Kimmel didn't even say what they said he said. He said it very carefully. You have to stretch just to get there, but that doesn't matter. Well, okay, good point. Maybe I wonder if I can look up. I know I'll get dinged for it, but in this case, I don't think I care because I do respect you, LDG. I don't want to poo-poo you. Let's go here. Jimmy Kimmel. Charlie Kirk. There's a video I need to watch right there. Okay. Let's play some of these. I wonder who wrote the book of love? The Boston Globe. Paddington Unbearable. The Epstein Files. That was 3 days ago. I wonder if this is it. Okay. Okay, I will say this. I always liked this guy. I think he should get his own show. That's just my personal opinion. All right, let's see if I can find it.
But even though the air is thick with humidity, we can breathe a little easier tonight because Donald Trump is out of the country. He is. Some clever Brits are already rolling out, well, I wouldn't call it a red carpet exactly, but rather a King Kong-sized photo of Trump with his buddy Jeffrey Epstein. This is right outside. He's been raking in since the election.
President Trump been a president in office.
How much would he sue for if he thought they were doing well? Trump announced the suit this morning. He wrote, "Today I have the great honor of bringing a $15 billion defamation and libel lawsuit against the New York Times, one of the worst and most degenerate newspapers in the history of our country. The Times has engaged in a decades-long method of lying about your favorite president, me, my family business, the waxing poetic about Charlie Kirk's relationship with his dad."
If you look at where he's created and the movement that he's built today, it's exactly what he described to me 10 years ago. And he became obviously dear friends with Don's. He became, that's right, probably a second son to my father.
Wait, I thought you were the second son to your father. I mean, I'm starting to feel bad.
Okay, that's actually funny. I'm okay with him saying that. It's not really funny to me because I don't know if anything he ever says again will be funny to me. But on an objective level, I can see that that's funny. I don't think that's the episode. So let's see. Let's see what MSNBC, these wonderful people, have to say.
We have breaking news. ABC has just announced here that they will be preempting
with Katie. The government needs to be really respectful of different viewpoints, even when you think that what is being said is inaccurate or deplorable.
But you weren't that way with us, you asshat. All right, that won't do me any good. Jimmy Kimmel's, let's see, pulled off air. Here's what Jimmy Kimmel said. Here's a short. Maybe this will be helpful.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
Just remember, and with respect to you, LDG, the guy who unalived Charlie Kirk was one of us. And I'm not supposed to feel any offense at that at all. Okay.
Everything you need to know about the off-key monologue that got Jimmy Kimmel's show pulled indefinitely. The controversy began during Monday's show when the late-night comic to score political points.
In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House. which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years, and it's going to be a beauty.
This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
Kimmel then doubled down, sharing that it wasn't the first time since Kirk's murder that Trump redirected a question about the Turning Point USA founder back to the White House ballroom.
And it didn't just happen once.
When I heard it, I was in the midst of, building a great, for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom at the White House, right? They don't have a ballroom, they have to use tents. And they came in, they said, Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't know what they meant. I said, he was dead. Charlie Kirk was shot.
And then we installed the most beautiful chandelier.
So there it is. There it is. Words no longer mean things if you mean other things. Ironic. Yeah, but there it is. That's maybe the post photoshopped all that. I know Kimmel was accused of photoshopping a lot of the stuff that he did. I don't know the truth of any of that, but that's the receipt right there. That's, you see it with your own eyes, you hear it with your own ears. Unless you can give me the receipts that was photoshopped, this is what he said. This is what he said. And it doesn't sound careful with respect to LDG. It doesn't sound careful to me. Because he lost me at the word one of them. He's basically saying, of all of us, that's 50+% people that voted for Trump, of the voters, not the population, but of the voters, we are lumped in with the unaliver, with the assassin. We are, again, Nazis, again, fascists. And a lot of anger has been building up for a lot of years in me personally, let alone on this side. Because I'm really tired of taking insults. I'm not getting on to you, LDG. I'm just trying to explain these words that are, I think, profoundly worse than anything anyone said since Alex Jones, that I care about anyway, that got people canceled. Why shouldn't he be canceled? Why shouldn't he be canceled? This is where I'm at now. Because they don't play chess. They throw the piece in our face and slap us and then ask us why we're not playing the game. And we're tired of it. I do, John, I do remember how Network ended. I really do. And I'm sorry, LDG, if it sounds like I'm coming after you. I'm not. I'm just probably a little too emotional about all this crap. Gorilla's random thoughts. It doesn't matter with as high of tensions. And I like, Gorillas, you pointed this out in your video. Comedy is timing. This was, I think you had a great point. This is terrible timing. 2 months from now, 2 years from now, this might be funny. Right now, if a right winger said this, there would be left wingers rioting in the streets. And every last one of you knows it. And if you don't, you're being either disingenuous or painfully naive. As high as the tensions are, you make a low quality joke to that point, a third of the area affiliates won't air him. Advertisers all back out because they don't want to be associated with it. Because I quit watching them some time ago, but if I hadn't, this would have gotten me to turn him off. And I asked the question, and LDG is just trying to give his answer to it. So forgive me if I got too emotional, but am I guilty of being just like them, or is this a natural reaction to having the black rook thrown in your face because you moved the queen up and checked the king. YouTube actually deleted the second half of my rant. Oh, of course they did. What was the first half? You really want to know what I think? I think canceling isn't enough. I want him sued. I want him broke. I want him forever unemployable. And the reason you want that, I would suggest, I mean, it's your feeling, but the reason I'm getting there is because they've tried to do it to so many of us. They've tried to do it to me. No, they haven't sued me, but who knows? I mean, I'm freaking broke. What would I do if they did sue me? And like Alex Jones, I don't have billionaire friends. I would just be sunk. My channel and would be gone forever, and I would be broke forever. That's the dark side of being empathic. You put yourself in the other side's shoes, but you also put yourself in the shoes of a Charlie Kirk. You put yourself in the shoes of an Alex Jones. And you think, what the hell? What would I do if that was me? And sometimes, well, but YouTube deleted the second half of his rant. Because remember, we're not Jimmy Kimmel. Everything he said there was acceptable and okay. And I get it. You may think that it is, but the same person that will say, okay, the same person that will say that this was acceptable and okay will then turn around and say that October 7 was faked and therefore it's, anything that happens to Israel is okay. Anything. The same person will say that something that Charlie Kirk said, take it out of context. Well, maybe this was taken out of context. Maybe everything that he said after this was like Gutfield does. A jerk would say, maybe that was left out. I don't know. But and then like I haven't looked into Chris Pratt, but if they're trying to cancel him, then I'm really close to the tipping point. I'm really close to just not really giving a crap anymore about being empathic. And I know that there's a certain amount of unhealth to that. I know there's a certain amount of, no, I can't let them take away that from me. But there's also a certain amount of, what am I supposed to do with this black rook that was thrown in my face? I mean, would you tell me? You guys tell me. Do I throw it back? Do I hit back? Do I keep playing the game? Do I pick up the board and the pieces and go away? Do I just stand up and walk away? And if I just stand up and walk away, please explain to me why they try to make me feel like the bad guy. I could understand it if I hit back. I could understand it if I threw the piece back. I could understand it if I said, "You dumb son of a bitch," in response to it. But I stand up and walk away, and that's still not good enough. So what is? Accounting Sheep is still censored. Gorillas is still censored. YouTube, you're only making my point. Break it up into multiple chats. You need me to find the short of, if you can find one that's better than this. Because I mean, again, it's good enough for me, but maybe it's not good enough. Gorillas, I think you found it. Where are we at? Okay, that's not you. I want her to be. Wow, there's some interesting stuff in here. Okay. Okay, is this the same one? This is the same one, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, this is the same one. Do-do-do-do-do. Check the chat. I posted it right on LDG. He's right. They do try to make sure we knew it wasn't them. I'm not sure I understand that comment. So, I want Kimmel's wife to leave him out of shame. I mean, am I not hearing English? You are, but I don't, respectfully, I don't think I am. What do you mean? They did try to make sure we knew it wasn't them. Well, okay. You know why that is, right? Okay. Let's go back here. And Thomas Matthew Crooks. Okay. So this is not against you. This is with my discussion with people on the left. This is one of the things that pushed me toward the right. Okay, let's use NPR. Not because I think it's an accurate source, but because I'm trying to make a point. When they tried to unalive President Trump, I tried a little bit to talk to my friends, very little, because they were basically saying stuff that was really pissing me off. They're saying stuff that was worse than what Kimmel was saying. They were saying stuff like, oh, it's too bad that he missed, and things like that. Now, LDG, maybe you don't think I have any right to feel pissed about that, but I was and am. Because I wouldn't say that about anybody on the other side. Well, maybe Anthony Fauci. But other than Anthony Fauci, I wouldn't say that about anybody on the right side. On the left side, I mean. Let's see if I can find it. Crooks. This is an article, what we know about the Trump shooter. Let's see, Control F. Crooks was a graduate, awardees from background I've gotten. He was your typical average kid. After high school, Crooks attended community college. Spokesman had confirmed he encountered Crooks, wasn't authorized to speak. I wonder if it's still here. Crooks had been working at Bethel Park Skilled. Okay, so I don't know if you remember, but it was basically touted all over the goddamn place that Crooks was a Republican. And I've talked about it I don't believe that he was registered, sure, but I think that it was not for the same reasons. And so we had that thrown in our face. We had that rook thrown in our face time and again playing chess. Crooks was a member of the gun club. That implies he's right wing, right? Investigators are working to put together the motive. They've not yet identified an ideology. Crooks was a registered Republican. Here it is. You have to almost get to the bottom of the frickin' article. But he donated $15 through Act Blue, Democratic Allied Organization. That was thrown in my face again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Crooks was a registered Republican. Crooks was a registered Republican. And ever since then, it's been the mantra of the left that it's registered Republicans going out to shoot other registered Republicans. They take one quote unquote fact and they use it to color the narrative ever since. So I hope you'll forgive me, but yes, we're done hearing that. I don't give a shit anymore what Crooks was registered as. And when the left comes out and says, well, this person's one of us, you didn't point that out, that was being thrown down our throats again. And we're tired of it. Okay. Gorilla's random thoughts. It was proven he was a furry who dated a trans person. Yeah, I have no idea what his party was. I don't give a shit. That's another rook. Don't throw it in my face. I know you're not. I know none of you are. I know LDG is neither. He's trying to have actual debate. You really need to be debating Charlie Kirk, LDG. Sadly, you can't. He's gone. I want her to be forced to turn to OnlyFans. Counting sheep, I don't think you're very upset about this. We know he wasn't them, but they still made sure we knew the killer was leftist, not one of them. I want his children to disown him and show up at Trump rallies. You know, I kind of like that too. Gorillas, I don't think Trump heard the question. One, I don't think he heard the question. And two, I know we're not supposed to do this, but I again, it's this goddamn empathy that I have. I put myself in his shoes. He is in a stage of grief. It's called denial. I don't say that out of disrespect to Trump. It's just a fact of human nature. You know, yes, I'm pro-Trump. Yes, I voted for Trump. Yes, I would, frankly, do it again now. But he's a human being. He lost a friend. And instead of mocking him, this is how a fourth grader grieves. No, you dumb son of a bitch. It's called the 5 stages of grief. The first one is denial. I don't give a shit how old you are. I don't care how mature you are. Unless you're an enlightened saint or not human or broken, you go through the 5 stages of grief. And the first stage is denial. And I think that's part of what's going on with Trump. His mind, he said it himself, his mind can't process because we're not built to process it very quickly. It's one of our flaws. It's one of the things that makes us human. Okay, so LG, what I mean is everyone who is saying he said something has to paraphrase to get there. Isn't this all something like double on? Yeah, it is. And no, you have a good point here. everybody's having to paraphrase everybody else, and there are exceptions. I'm trying to be one of them, but most people are just on both sides are just throwing out, well, they said this, they said that. That's why I'm trying to show it, because I want you to actually see who said what, and I want to kind of paint out at least my thoughts, and they may be wrong easily, but my thoughts on why people are saying what they're saying and why they're doing what they're doing. John Ponerero is well established by the time of airing. Many facts about the shooter were established that said the opposite of what Kimmel was suggesting. Accounting sheep, holy crap, YouTube censorship of me is out of control. I mean, taping, not airing. Yeah. No, it's okay, John. I think I know what you meant. LDG is probably feeling attacked. My bad. No such thing as too soon when it comes to the world. Everyone needs their own speech. There are no blackout dates. And again, I want to be very clear. Kimmel had the right to say what he said. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I'm offended by it. I won't listen to him. But he had the right to say it. Should he have been canceled? That's the question, because 9 times out of 10 in the past, I would have said no, he shouldn't be. But right now, I feel like he should. And I'm trying to analyze that because I'm an analyst. All right, let's see what else is going on in the chat. And then I've got a couple more things to share, and then we'll call it a stream. Gorillas, are you saying, LDG, we did the same thing to Kimmel that they did to Charlie? I don't think that's what he's saying. In fact, I don't think that's what he's saying at all, but maybe I'm misunderstanding because I'm good at that. I want this for everyone on the left. Hey, finally they'll let me say it. Oh yeah, you had to wow, they wouldn't let you say that part. I want this for everyone on the left. LDG, as long as it's not being shoved down our faces, let the corners be. That's not a bad statement. And that's really my point. That's my point. I know you're not, and I apologize if I got a little bristly here. But I feel like a lot of crap has been shoved in our faces. And I do not understand why. I mean, I've documented again and again and again and again and again until I'm actually kind of tired of documenting it. The left can say whatever it wants. And if we have, I was married to a woman with borderline personality disorder. I bring this up because this is what she would do. She could call me numbnut. She could call me anything. She could say any hateful, horrible thing about me. And any demonstration of upset. And I was, from that point, I was mean. I was abusive. She should leave me. I could not say anything negative, or she had every right to blow up and call her best friend and call her mother and call my work. And this is what I see on the left. Was what Alex Jones said wrong? Yes. But I think it was completely disproportionate to just take away his entire livelihood. Was what Kimmel said was wrong? Yes. I'm trying to make up my mind, but I'm tempted to say he got what he deserved. But you surely see the differences. And I know both sides are doing, the extremes on both sides are doing it. Kimmel deserved what he got. Alex Jones deserved what he got. And does that mean I'm getting closer to the extreme? Or am I just tired of having chess pieces thrown at me? Or maybe is that where extremists come from? Gorillas, I need to buy a lottery ticket like I do with Jill because there's 2 naughties. Yeah, I know. I probably ought to cool it. Gorillas, I know more about the last crap that I took than we know about crooks. Yeah, we know more about the the body was burned. I don't know if they ever got into his phone. I think they finally did, but it just baffles me. And then one quote unquote fact that for all I know is fabricated, but I don't know. That one fact is going to be thrown in my face and is proof that my view is discredited, that Trump is discredited, when all it is, if you look at it logically, which I'm failing, but I'm trying to do, if you look at it logically, it's just one factotum on one person during one incident. The logical fallacy is when we try to extrapolate that. And LDG, I know you probably didn't, and I know not all media sources did, but some media sources did. Jimmy Kimmel did right there. We heard it. And my friends did. This is why my reaction is so visceral. I heard the words of my friends that were nothing more than parroting from other media sources that I had quit respecting. And that helped kind of demolish our friendships. And now I hear this jackass saying the exact same thing, meaning he's one of the sources. He's one of the sources that they were getting this crap from. And maybe he's not getting what he deserves, but at the same time, to say that I have no right to feel angry or upset, yeah, I shouldn't go out and unalive him. Certainly not. Writing him a hateful letter, that would be pointless. He doesn't care anyway, probably wouldn't read it. It might be a good idea to write one and then throw it away, burn it so nobody ever reads it, just to get it out of my subconscious. Gorillas wants to see LDG debate Milo. You know, that might be a good one. And LDG makes a great point. Who even watches Kimmel? The only reason we even heard it was from the other side plowing it down our throats. It's, guys, it's really not a bad point. I wouldn't have known if right wingers hadn't told me. I'm just saying. LDG 129K in key demographic. Oh, that's abysmal. That's terrible. For that kind of a show, those are terrible numbers. If that's true, and I'm not going to look it up, and I'm not going to accept it as true or false, but I do know that I've read pretty poor numbers. Frankly, none of them, literally nobody even comes close to Johnny Carson's old numbers. And the reason is because there's several, but one reason is Johnny Carson at the time was unique until what's his name? Jay Letterman. There was no other person on TV doing that mattered, that anyone was listening to anyway. And so he had a virtual monopoly on that niche. So now you've got all those. I could be wrong about this, but I think Johnny Carson had roughly 14 million people listening to him. Now you have all those numbers split up amongst dozens of other people, or several other people, maybe not dozens, but several others. Also, I would suggest that Johnny Carson was better at it, and I would suggest Johnny Carson, he did not polarize. Simple as that. He didn't polarize. How the hell does Stream Elements have the #1 patch? I'm sorry, Gorillas. Curtis, I sent a chat. YouTube deleted on Twitter. Okay, let's see what did you send me on Twitter? Tomorrow, I can't unless it's like early. I'm working tomorrow. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to try to cram this in today, because I won't be able to do much streaming till Tuesday. Gorilla says he wants to see the shooter have to watch Charlie Kirk on loop for the rest of his life. That is not as cruel as someone making a person listen to the Indian drum meme on loop for 8 hours. Oh, hi, LDG. You guys. Gorillas, Johnny Carson didn't have to compete with YouTube and Spotify. Yeah, there's that too. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why Johnny Carson blew away the numbers these people had, but nobody even comes close. And there's a lot of disingenuous that goes on with these numbers as well. When people say that I'm having a senior moment. Who is the other one? Late night TV show hosts. No, 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 no. Stephen Colbert. They said that Stephen Colbert was number one. He is, if you're just looking at the big three and you're ignoring Spotify, YouTube, frankly, Fox News, because at least for the last few months, Gutfield's been blowing him away. It'll start at 11. I may be able to make it. Let me check my schedule here. Jake is off. I'm working 1 till close. I could maybe catch part of it, but I'd have to leave likely within an hour. Either that or I don't know. Or just call in sick. No, I'm not going to do that. All right, I have 2 more things I want to share, and then I'm going to call it a stream. I don't know that I've established anything. I've answered a few questions, at least, maybe not satisfactorily to some people, but I have answered why we're getting this way. This is one of my favorite people anymore, and yet I haven't listened to him for almost a month. Victor Davis Hanson. Let me skip ahead a bit. I want to share most of the things, not everything.
Hello, this is.
But most of the things that he's saying. And I'm going to try to skip some of the things that aren't very salient to this, but frankly, most of the things that he talks about in this Daily Signal post is very salient. And you may not agree with what he says, but I'm going to guarantee you that when I hear this, even the stuff that doesn't really matter about Charlie Kirk, every little bit of it is resonating with me. Every little bit of it. Maybe I'm in the wrong for that. Maybe. But it is. I watched this last night. I was having trouble sleeping, and I watched this and Gutfield, and then I was like, nope, no more news type stuff. I've got to get some sleep, and then I didn't fall asleep until nearly 4 in the morning. But here we go.
This is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. Something is happening in the United States, I think worldwide too. It's almost as if there were fuel, and the death of Charlie Kirk ignited it.
Do any of you feel like that? I've not been doing a great job of analyzing it or thinking about it, but I've been wondering why, even the attempt on Trump didn't quite hammer me as hard as this has. Now, I'm sure part of it is because the attempt on Trump failed. I'm sure that's part of it. But I feel like that's not the whole story. Why is this impacting me the way it is? Gorillas, I want people to be as spiteful to these people mocking Charlie's death as Bobby Hill was when he downed a rare 72-ounce steak while sharing his vegetarian ex-girlfriend in the eye. Okay. All right. Okay, Victor Davis Hanson. Let's see what would it. The fuel is already there. A match has been lit, but the fuel is already there. What was the fuel? The match is obvious. The unaliving of Charlie Kirk is the match, but what was the what? What I can't remember what the term is, but what was the fuel and what was the what's causing this fire to start burning?
It's not a George Floyd movement at all or moment. We've talked about that. It's very different. It's building.
Now, again, with respect to Victor, to everybody, there are some George Floyd people types out there. And what I mean by that is Gorillas has pointed out to me some people who, in my opinion, even after the things that I feel, have probably taken their rhetoric too far. And again, I'm not sure that I know the answer, but as angry as I am, and as much as I think that there should be some kind of step up on our action, I don't think that step up should be, well, let's go get our pew-pews and unalive leftists. I don't think. Anyway, let's see what Victor Davis Hanson says here. It's a building up of frustration.
Up frustration. It's not a top-down DEI mandate. It's a grassroots kind of collective shrug throughout Western civilization. And I guess it could be characterized as enough is enough. We're witnessing large-scale demonstrations in Ireland, Great Britain. The government of France has fallen. Mr. Macron will have to appoint a new prime minister.
Now, I don't remember the George Floyd thing enough. I think there were protests in foreign nations, but have you seen the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people in Britain and in Ireland and in France? Have you seen third world countries having like native dances in honor of Charlie Kirk? You wouldn't even have thought they'd known this guy. It's wild. And not all of it's positive, but a lot of it is. And that's both scary and thrilling and what the hell is this to me, because maybe the voice of reason is more popular than people think. Maybe the voice of insanity, even though it's louder, isn't as popular to people as we're led to believe.
There is unrest in the Netherlands. We used to think during the Cold War that Eastern Europe was supposedly backward politically, under the Soviet sway, economically stagnant. But since the Cold War, and especially lately, the Eastern Europeans seem the most sensible of all Westerners. They believe in tradition, they believe in borders, they believe in legal-only immigration, they believe in fossil fuel development, and they have strong militaries because they've experienced Soviet aggression and German aggression in the past. And yet,
so what do you guys think about that? Are those the staples? I mean, this is another thing that I often want to do and never do because I don't know how to do it. What are our principles? What is it that we believe for? There's the saying that you've got to stand for something or you fall for anything. And yes, you can get too pedantic. And yes, you can get into an echo chamber. And yes, we need debate. But you also have to have some kind of foundational principles. Something that I don't mean to use rhetoric here, but if the cause came to it, yeah, you would be willing to literally die on this hill. Are these the things that we're willing to live and die for, or what are our principles? I know free speech is one of mine, but it's only one, and yes, it's one of the most central ones, but it's only one. I also believe in people not necessarily being enslaved to their cultures, but honoring them. I think that Japanese should know how to bow and should know how to should know the cultural stories of Japan and should maybe not glorify it, maybe not think that they're the only ones, but I have no problem with Japanese or blacks or Native Americans or anybody thinking that their culture and their life is important and matters. Black Lives Matter? Hell yeah. All of the lives matter. I thought. I mean, wasn't that a principle of the Western civilization? Well, Western civilization is bad. Again, I don't want to completely take away from the others. The Muslims, fine, yeah, be strong Muslims. Just don't come to my country and tell me that I have to be a strong Muslim. Because I don't go to yours and tell you you have to be a strong Christian. Well, there are people that come and, yeah, I know. I'm not one of them. I'm just trying to live and let live. John worked with a pharmacy student this morning. He said that Charlie Kirk's death has drawn him closer to Bible reading and church involvement. A fire was lit in him and his wife. Gorillas, the world is rising up. We've reached a turning point, pun intended. There's no going back. And here's why I almost don't want to talk about this. So many times in my life, something has happened, and I start to think, oh, this is it. This is what's going to wake people up. This is where we're finally going to start acting like human beings again. And somehow it always just goes to crap. I wonder, I hope that I'm wrong here, but I wonder what we'll be thinking and saying 2 months from now, 6 months from now, 1 year from now. I mean, it's just human nature. We have let the passions of Trump's attempt maybe not die, but they've gotten, at least in me, they've gotten quieter and more still. I feel more worn down from trying to tell people that this was a travesty and it doesn't matter what Crook's party affiliation was at all. It was a freaking insane travesty. Gorillas, I will get that #1 badge back. I will not let Stream Elements take it. Let me look. Let me look before I go too much further. Oh, I had already closed the poll. That's what it was, I guess. Well, my bad. Never mind. I was in too much of a hurry, as usual. So, who are the top fans? The top fans are Stream Elements with 150 XP. Gorillas has 150 XP, and Accounting Sheep has 125 XP. I haven't pointed this out because well, one, I got too deep into the topic, and two, after the incredible generosity last night, I really don't want to just seem like a complete money grubber, but I do have a goal up. And if I get 5 super chats of any value, I will do a podcast Tuesday afternoon, and you guys would be able to choose what that is. Again, within reason. I'm not saying you have to do this, but super chats do weigh a certain amount in those chats. Maybe maybe whatever the minimum is. I don't know what that is. I think it's like 99 cents, but if you want XP, that's a quick way to do it. Helps me and gets us closer to that goal, which we probably won't get unless I do become a money grabber. Please give me more money. I need more. Sorry. All right, Victor Davis Hanson. What else is he saying?
Yet they also are having a reinforcing moment. What is this moment? We're seeing it in the United States with thousands of people are commemorating the death of Charlie Kirk. There's no tolerance for the usual left-wing socialist craziness.
Are you not noticing that as well? And is that good or bad? And is it bad that I'm feeling like it's actually a good thing? Left wingers are saying their usual crazy bullshit, and we're not going to listen to it. We're vociferously going to let them know that we're not going to listen to it this time. We're done listening to them. Gorillas, I think we are one crisis away from all hell breaking loose. It will make the summer of love of 2020 look like a romantic candle. I've been scared of that for a long time, and now I'm like, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I just know that a lot of it is more in God's hands than mine, whatever God may be. And I just have to try to trust that whatever, God's got some kind of plan. I know that's lame, but John Ponerero, good recommendation. Do you have a member chat left? I'm not sure if they give XP or not. The Gorillas has been a member for 1 month. Thank you very much. Taking back my number 1 spot with that. Damn it, still number 2. I have noticed some real randomness with YouTube's chat XP. I've seen people give super chats and get squat for it. It's one of the reasons why I kind of hesitated to recommend it, because I'd hate for you to give a super chat and then it doesn't help. And then I've seen people, like, sometimes I've just thrown out pointless random chats and ended up number 1 with 150 to even 300 XP and not given a cent. So I don't know. With another deposit into your offshore account, you'll get an air fryer. Yes, John, you've got it. Woo! Money, 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 money.
The abhorrent, violent smears of conservatives who've died. And you don't see major bureaucrats or generals or Hollywood figures. Increasingly, they're not coming out and rejoicing because they feel that they're going to get a big pushback. This is not violent.
And let's face it, those asshats on the internet who were cheering for the unaliving, for the death of Charlie Kirk, they're modeling the behavior that they've been given. Maybe from someone famous, maybe not, but somebody's kind of taught them to think and act that way. Someone's brainwashed them. Oh, Curtis, you're the one that's brainwashed. Maybe. I mean, maybe we're all brainwashed.
It's just a collective shrug. And what is the shrug, basically? It's saying we're tolerant of people with alternate lifestyles, but whether we like it or not, the nuclear 2-parent family for 2,500 years has ensured the survival of Western civilization. It gives us 2 to 3 to 4 children, and we can reproduce the species. we're tolerant of Islam and Buddhism, Hinduism. We have a multiracial, multicultural population. But whether we like it or not, the foundations of the United States are Judeo-Christian as they are of Western civilization in general. We have no apologies for that.
All right. Still number 2. Yeah, freaking YouTube. Reference back to the beginning of the video, and I know not many of you were there, but I used to be a lot stronger. Maybe that's not the word I should use. I was more of an unapologetic Christian at one time. I was more willing to witness and share my faith and all that. I was a lot more unequivocal. And part of that was naivety. Okay. I know that. So I don't want to be completely disingenuous here, but sometimes I wonder if I've lost something. And what I guess the best way I can put it is I don't ask a Muslim to apologize for being a Muslim. I don't ask a Buddhist. And I know some people do, but I don't. I am okay with you as you are. Why do I have to apologize? And why is my ethnicity or whatever you want to call it the only one that appears to me to be the one that has to apologize? I have to apologize for being a white Christian male. Why is that bad? And I'm tired of it being bad. And I'm frustrated of bending over backward to try to be good according not to my standards, not to my beliefs, but to yours. And it doesn't seem to matter because it's never good enough. And I'm to the point, I was to the same point with my ex-wife 7 years ago. And now I'm kind of to that point with the left. I've been patient. I've listened. I've tried to give you open forums. And all I've gotten is chess pieces thrown at me. Some of them have been encapsulated in little hearts so that I am hopefully stupid enough to be fooled to think that it's a loving and kind and gracious statement, but it's not. It's an insult. I am smart enough to understand some, maybe not all, but some insults. You see, when you say Crooks was a registered Republican and hint that therefore it's okay, because that's the only way that matters. That is literally the only way that matters. That means it's okay that he tried to shoot someone. That means that my entire ideology is wrong. How? Why? Where's the logic in that? And there's certainly no ethos, pathos, logos. Ethos, pathos, logos. If you don't know it, drill it into your brains. This is what Charlie Kirk used. It's why he was good as a debater. He knew the classical rhetorical debating methods. Ethos, pathos, logos. There's no logos. You have one fact. There's definitely no pathos. In no way have you reached me emotionally. And there's no ethos. You've not established that you're worthy of being listened to. In fact, you've lost points. I thought you were worthy of being listened to, and now I don't. All right, let's see what Gorilla is saying. Damn it, Stream Element, stop chatting. I want my badge back. Instead of chess pieces, would we use bricks? Oh, Gorilla's good point. But I think that is also part of Matt Cheatwood's point. You're playing chess and somebody slaps you, hits you, throws a brick at you, shoots you. Even a verbal insult is a different level from what we're discussing, you can still forgive it. You maybe shouldn't, but you can still forgive it and you can keep playing.
The Sermon on the Mount is a unique document. We also are tired of what I call boutique anti-Americanism. We see Ilhan Omar.
Boutique anti-Americanism. I love that phrase. I'll probably forget it in the next 2 hours, but I love that phrase. I'm desperately tired of hearing how bad America is. Do we have flaws? Yes. Is it okay for someone to point them out? Well, I used to would have said yes, but now I'm going to give a qualifier. It's okay if your intent is to actually fix the problem. If your intent is to actually improve the country. But if I kind of suspect that your intent is actually just to tear the country down, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. All right. Let's Victor Davis Hanson will put it in a lot better and more eloquent way.
Suggesting that our elected government is worse than the dictatorship in Somalia. Or we see AOC calling Donald Trump a fascist, as she has in the past. Or we see Rashida Tlaib just demonizing and damning the United States, even though her parents fled the Middle East to come here.
Side note, one of the reasons why I love 2C TV, he loves America, he loves Britain, and he does still love Iran. He trashes the government of Iran, but he doesn't trash the actual country and people. He still loves his country. He still loves his people, and that's okay. I am 100% not only okay with it, I'm thrilled and happy that he still loves Iran, but he also loves Britain. He loves the United States because he knows that they are the sources of freedom and of liberty and of the principles that will make a country truly great in not in the jingoistic sense of the word, as in we can dominate you, but as in countries that are full of love for other countries, are full of Christian or whatever, whatever kind of charity toward other countries. I think the Muslims sometimes forget that Muhammad did preach charity too. I haven't heard that for ages and ages and ages, but it's there in their Quran. All y'all ever hear is death to America, down with America. Well, he preached charity too. And it's your religion, so why don't you pick up your damn book and read it? Anyway, sorry.
And we're tired of it. It doesn't mean we're going to outlaw.
We're tired of it.
Free speech or try to use the same tactics as the critics of America do. But what we're saying is we're a unique place. We're better than the alternative. We don't have to be perfect to be good. So you can say all you want, but we're going to not just ignore you. We're going to do our best to make sure your voices have no influence.
And that's the crux. That's the change. And I think this is where we need to be. I don't know that I'm smart enough to do it, but in loving and Christian ways, no, we're not going to silence you. You can speak, but we're no longer going to let your speech influence us. And that's been the problem for a long, long time, at least with me. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think so, or he wouldn't be saying this. Jimmy Kimmel, we're not listening to you anymore. You can still speak, and if other people want to listen to you, that's okay. I'm done listening to you. Stephen Colbert, I'm done listening to you. I don't care. I don't care what you have to say anymore. If my friends want to keep listening to you and still think you're funny, that's okay. but I'm done listening. Doesn't mean I'm canceling you. It means I'm shutting you out. I'm shutting out your words from my life. And I have the right to do that just as much as you have the right to speak. The wacko crazies on the internet. I've been trying very hard to watch less stuff on the internet. There's probably people who think that I've started ignoring them. Maybe I am, but that's not my intent. My intent is I don't want to listen to the goofy craziness anymore. I don't. It's not. It's not contributing to the dialogue. It's not contributing to the debate. It's not establishing ethos. In other words, it's not establishing that you're worthy of being listened to. It's not establishing pathos. It's not doing anything to my heart but making me tired and sad. And it's not establishing logos because usually there's only one or two irrelevant facts that are propped up as if they're the crux of the argument when they almost have nothing to do with the argument at all. What Crook's party affiliation was has virtually zero relevancy to the debate. The fact that he donated to the Democrat Party has virtually zero relevance to the debate. The debate rests on whose policies are better, who's most worthy of being listened to. So there's ethos and logos, and then the pathos of it is Crooks pulled a trigger. That's the pathos. For some reason, some of you seem to be not in my chat, but some of the people that I've talked to seem to be okay with that. I'm not, and therefore you have lost ethos with me. And maybe that's my bad, but I don't think so anymore because a lot smarter and better people than me are saying and thinking the same thing.
And that's why people are taking to the street in Europe. They're saying an open border and illegal immigration brings in millions of people from the Middle East. They have no proven desire that they wish to readily assimilate.
I'll skip that part. It is relevant, but I don't think it's relevant enough. I'm going to skip to his last statements.
The United States, and the message is what has worked in the past does not have to be perfect. As I said, it's better than the alternative, and we're going to return to it, and we wish you would join us. But if you don't,
and that's part of why I've been doing my Constitution series. This is what we've had in the past. This is what has worked in the past. Now, maybe if you want to argue that it's no longer working, but I again, ethos, pathos, logos. To have ethos, you at least need to know what's in it. Pathos, you have to understand that you're talking to somebody who loves that Constitution. And if all you do is crap on it, I won't listen to you for very long. And then, obviously, logos. What are points in the Constitution that you have facts to back up are bad? And sadly, very few people. This was one of the brilliant things about Charlie Kirk's debates. Very few people could get to the logos because all they had was pathos, but it was their pathos. They never established ethos. And I'm not saying he was always perfect about it, but quite often, you look at the way he did it. You establish that you're worthy of listening to. Reach out to their hearts, listen to them. And I'm still willing to listen to people, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to go out of my way and click on a video by some jackass. Charlie Kirk deserved to die. Donald Trump, I'm sorry he was missed. I'm sorry. That won't touch my heart in any positive fashion.
don't want to join us and you want to dismantle Western civilization, or you hate the United States, or you despise your particular European country, then you're going to be voted out of office and you're going to have zero political power, as it should be. Thank you very much.
And God, I hope that's true. It's been true, at least on the federal level in the United States. I hope that there's enough of us. I don't know. I hope that there's enough of us that we can do this with the ballot box instead of, the other kind of B. Archer had Porthos. Yes. This is not to be confused with the Three Musketeers. Athos, Porthos, and Aramis. Okay, I'm going to do something that I haven't done in a while. Let me get to where I want to be. I'm not sure that I want to show much of it, really, but all right. I haven't done pointless and possibly partisan things that I've found on Twitter for a while, but I think I'm going to do that today, and then I'm going to call it a stream. Okay. I'm going to start with. Man, there's just so much good stuff that's come out, and bad stuff too. All right. Twitter. All right. Rob Schneider. There's actually quite a few people who, while I've lost a lot of respect for some people, I've also gained a lot of respect for people. Interestingly enough, one of them has been, oh crap, having a senior moment. Yesterday. He used to be crazy. I kind of lost all respect for him. He was on drugs for a long time. Debate clash search. Anyway, I'll think of it probably at 3 in the morning, and it doesn't matter. Doggies, yes, thank you, John. I knew one of you would know. Charlie Sheen. He's been sober for 7 years. And I'm not saying that he's become a crazy wacko right-wing activist, but I saw him. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience when Joe Rogan heard that the thing was going on. And it wasn't anything political. It was just Charlie Sheen and Joe Rogan were both appropriately horrified that this would happen. And they were both like, look, I didn't agree with him on a lot of topics, but this is wrong. This is horrible. And yeah. And then he was on Gutfield last night. Now, okay, maybe that makes him a crazy right winger. I don't know. But he didn't say anything that was crazy and right wing. He just said stuff that was funny, and he made good points, and he was sober and cogent and intelligent, and he was basically the guy. He was older, but he was a very kind of an intelligent version of the guy I remember him being when he was younger, and the drugs hadn't stolen most of his talent away. So again, maybe it's just that he's talking with my side, so that's why I think he's good. But I don't think so, because there really wasn't anything that he said. He didn't say anything like, I love Ronald Reagan. He wasn't saying a lot of right wing stuff. He was just saying, he was making points and they were funny. Rob Schneider, you can kill a man, for we are all mortal. You can never kill his love of his Savior Jesus Christ, his love of our great nation, the United States of America and his love of freedom, truth in his undying love, confidence and belief in the young people of America. You can never kill his message. America is and always will be the beacon of freedom the world over. Charlie Kirk was our modern day founding father. He helped save our country from slipping further into godlessness, censorship, cultural falsehoods, loss of common sense, common decency, and authoritarian communism. Above all, Charlie Kirk was noble. He was a decent, God fearing man. He ultimately gave his life for the people and the country that he loved so dearly. All of us who truly love our country will continue to serve, honor, and protect the freedoms that were earned through blood so that we American citizens and our children may always live and breathe in a free society. Today, let us all pledge our allegiance again, as I know Charlie would want, to this great land and continue his love of God, family, and country. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. May Jesus Christ hold Charlie Kirk in his arms tonight. This was the day that he passed, that he was shot, and comfort his loved ones left behind. I pray for peace at this time for all Americans, for all of God's children everywhere. God bless you all. So that's what Schneider had to say. Tony Stark, Stark of Iron, said, "Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Your YouTube shorts were awesome. You didn't deserve what happened. Prayers for your family." I'll skip this one, but this is a Russell Brand praying for the family. The Critical Drinker, mainstream media finally covers the brutal murder of an innocent woman. This is the headline they go with. This was what Charlie was talking about in some of his last tweets. A gruesome murder in North Carolina ignites a firestorm on the right. Security footage capturing the unprovoked stabbing in Charlotte became an accelerant for conservative arguments about the perceived failings of Democratic policies. Critical Drinkers commentary on this is that journalists are utter scum. Kind of ad hominem, but I get how he feels. A cancer eating away at the very soul of our society. They deserve nothing but contempt at this point. This is why they killed Charlie Kirk, Alex Jones.
Political radicalism needs a catalyst. Political radicalism does not come out of peace, prosperity, rising wages, stable families, church attendance, and happy people. Happy people, grateful people do not get behind Vladimir Lenin, and they certainly don't get behind Chavez or Castro.
That's right.
People that own nothing, that feel like their property is diminishing, they don't have property, or their dollar is diminishing in value, they start to look for alternatives. And so the political project in front of us as conservatives should be, how do we actually de-radicalize the country in the next couple of years? That's my obsession. And that's why I say I try not to think about all this other stuff, because it just, it's such brain space. My number one obsession is I know what is coming next. Political radicalism needs a catalyst. Political radicalism does not come out of peace, prosperity.
Mike Benz, who is the guy who persuaded me that the 2020 election was stolen, because he did establish ethos, pathos, and logos, with me anyway. Charlie was going to be president of the United States one day. He was the ultimate bridge builder, diplomat, spokesperson, and institution builder. They executed him in broad daylight. Fletcher Williams, prayers and thank you, Spain. In Madrid, some Spanish patriots did this in front of the American embassy. The entire world is heartbroken. They have his poster and some candles. So you hear a lot of bad things about Europe, but there's possibly, unless you do think Charlie Kirk deserved to die, possibly there's some good going on there as well. Adrian Curry, this is maybe one of my favorites. Ideas are bulletproof. You know, the funny thing is the liberal friends that I talk about, we used to talk about how we loved V for Vendetta. There is a man behind this mask, and you can kill him. I'm paraphrasing, but really what all this is an idea. Ideas are bulletproof. U.S. Senator John Fetterman, our family grieves for Charlie Kirk's family. We must collectively find a way forward during these polarized times. Ben Shapiro, who I know I have plenty of friends who hate him, but like all of you, I'm utterly stunned and heartbroken and sick to my soul today. It is unimaginable to write these words. I met Charlie Kirk when he was 18 years old, a young man so eager and determined that I immediately turned to a friend and said, "That kid is going to be the head of the RNC one day." Charlie became even bigger and more important than that. It was a privilege to watch this principled man stand up for his beliefs and create the single most important conservative political organization in America. But more importantly, Charlie was a good man, a man who believed in right and wrong, who stood by his biblical values. All of us will miss him. I can't imagine the pain of his beautiful young family. We must all pray for them. And we must pick up the baton where Charlie left it, fighting for the things he believed in so passionately. And we must fight for a better America, an America where good people can speak truth and debate passionately without fear of a bullet. I weep for Charlie's family, and I weep for my country today. Most of all, I weep for Charlie. I am not sure if I'm ashamed or not, but I have not shed a single tear yet. I think that's part of that denial stage of grief. John Ponerero is saying that Charlie Sheen was pushing his book on waters earlier. Gorillas, we don't hate the mainstream media enough. Yeah, I blame them as much for the bullet that was fired at Trump and at Kirk as I do the people who pulled the trigger. Not my friends, don't get me wrong. They believed it, and I'm upset about that, but they're not the ones that started spewing the lies. And it's the lies that fired those shots just as much as it was a crazed human being. Gorilla's random thoughts. I know the world is speeding up. We used to wait till they became president. Okay, you can put me in timeout for this. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I am. Okay, so I have not listened to the last time I listened to Alex Jones was when he did an interview. When he did the retarded interview, I'm kind of retarded. When he did that interview, that was the last time I listened to Alex Jones. I'm going to play what he said.
Look, folks, I'm not somebody that cries easily. I was sitting in this parking lot going home. I started crying a few months ago. Charlie Kirk was a really sweet person. I first met him back in 2016 at the RNC in Cleveland. He was so young. Maybe like 20-something years old then, so happy, so full of life. He had big plans. He was going to galvanize all the kids on campuses to vote Republican, wake them up to communism. And they killed him today with a high-powered rifle. Classic stuff, just like crooks in Pennsylvania, running around the roof. Nobody's doing anything. And they shot him and killed him. And the left's celebrating it. And all the Democrats calling for violence. Everything else is just sick filth. But, Charlie Kirk really is a hero. And a family man and somebody that had a real vision. And the left and the globalists have really screwed up because, look, there's safety in numbers.
I know I've got to at least pause it a little bit here. Let's see if you guys are saying anything. Okay. You're either listening or you're fled in terror. So let's see. I kind of don't want to listen to the whole 5 minutes, but let's play a little bit more anyway.
And I was honest in videos I posted. I said, I don't do a bunch of public events. I don't go to colleges because I guarantee you, if I went out for a year, 10, 15 events, I'll get shot dead. And I'm not scared of dying, but I can digitally and cyber level, really counter the globalist. And I remember telling people, I think I even said it on air, I said, man, I'm surprised Charlie Kirk's not dead because the left can't deal with this. He knew what he was doing. He put himself out there on the front lines, and he got millions of votes for Trump. And people bitch and complain about Trump and say he's not getting the whole agenda done quick enough or whatever. He's getting so much done. It's amazing. It doesn't matter. It's about the team he brought forward and about the fact that we know Kamala Harris and Democrats are absolute criminal, pedophile enablers.
Okay, he may have been. Well, no, actually, I agree with a lot of that. But then a lot of people think that Trump is on the list too. So let me skip ahead to the ending.
That's what it's all about. So I promise I'm doing it. It's in the famous Sally Kirk movie. The Romans are getting ready to crucify 10,000 plus people because they would tell me Spartacus is. And they go, he finally said, he got at city councils, colleges. Everybody's got to be Charlie Kirk now, like with Spartacus. It's a true story, not just in the famous. Go out. In fact, I'm going to announce I'm going to go into a nationwide tour of universities for Charlie. I think we can all do it. We have to take his example like Obi-Wan Kenobi in front of Darth Vader. And I was strategic about it. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do it because I can do better over here. But you know what? That's a cop-out. Because if one guy will do it and get killed and intimidates us, they win. No, we all have to peacefully hit the streets. We all have to speak out at city councils, colleges. Everybody's got to be Charlie Kirk now, like with Spartacus. It's a true story, not just in the famous Sally Kirk movie. The Romans are getting ready to crucify 10,000 plus people because they would tell me Spartacus is. And they go, he finally steps forward and goes, I'm a Spartacus. And everybody else goes, no, I'm a Spartacus. We're all Charlie Kirk now. That's what it's all about. So I promise I'm doing it. And I know I've got to put, I don't care. If I go out and some leftist guns me down on the thing, it's an honor. It'll just be a bigger example of people because you guys have summoned the whirlwind. And that's what it comes down to. They can shut down the internet and censor us all tomorrow, but they can't stop us in the streets. We love you, Charlie. We love your family. We're so proud of you. Think about these bastards. The corporate media covers everything up. They love it. They love death. They just scum. We're going to get them. We're going to save this country and the world together. Because people like Charlie Kirk's courage. We love you, Charlie. God bless you.
All right. Megyn Kelly. I don't care right now about the haters on cable. I don't care about anodyne statements from politicians about Charlie. I only care about three things: that this killer be caught, tried, and given the ultimate punishment. 1. 2, we pray for his family, friends, and colleagues and do everything possible to ease their pain. And 3, we amplify Charlie's message to the mountaintops and not retreat and spreading it even one fucking
Look,
inch.
folks.
Matthew Marsden. I'm going to be telling a lot of people fuck you today. I'm done. Riley Gaines. I don't know any words right now. I probably won't for a long time. Lord be with his family. Turning Point USA staff, all who knew him, all who admired him. No one loved this nation, God, or the truth more than Charlie. And there he is with his little shit-eating grin. Elon Musk, which was he generated it, but then he got a response from Critically Thinking and Drinking. If they won't leave us in peace, then our choice is fight or die. And Critically Drinking, and this may be one of those things, gorillas, and you may even be right about it. This may be going too far, but I can't help but the dark part of me feels like this is apropos. I was just fooling about that. And Val Kilmer, I wasn't. Adrian Curry shares a quote by Tyrion Lannister. When you tear out a man's tongue, you are not proving him a liar. You're only telling the world that you fear what he might say. St. Mary Joseph, the rector of St. Michael Basilica, remembered Charlie Kirk by name during the evening mass. The Young Turks guy, fuck. Charlie died. God damn it. This is not the way. I just didn't just know him from our interviews and debates, but I met his wonderful wife. This is beyond heartbreaking. Violence is so stupid. He was a real person, a human being who just died in front of our eyes. Tragic. And again, just like he did with Donald Trump, I'm in agreement with it. This is the only Democrat. Well, not quite true. There was Fetterman. There were a couple of others. But this was one of the few Democrats I could find who showed honest sorrow after hearing about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I don't always agree with him, just like I didn't always agree with Charlie. But
I'm so sorry to the Charlie Kirk family. Charlie Kirk was shot in Utah, giving a speech there. I just found out he's passed away. I can't believe he's dead. He was shot in the neck. Some of you might have seen an elderly man being dragged away. Turns out it was not him. Authorities don't know who did it. Violence is not the answer. This is a horrific tragedy. And we're all in danger now. This is a terrible, terrible thing to do. Violence is intellectual surrender. It's giving up and saying, I'm a loser. I don't know how to win in a battle of ideas. I'm going to resort to violence like an animal. It is the very last thing anyone who's progressive or on the left would ever do. We are for nonviolence. We are for peace. We are for our fellow human beings and humanity overall. So I don't know who did this, but whoever they are, they're a monster, and they've done something terrible. That was not just a pundit. That was a human being. I'm so sorry to the Charlie Kirk family. My heart.
And just saying, Jimmy Kimmel, I know you won't hear this, but if you'd said something more like that, one, maybe you'd still be on the air, and two, if you weren't, maybe I'd be sorry you were gone. I'm just saying. John Ponerero is either moved or horrified. I'm not sure which. Gorillas, can these Temu Forrest Gumps handle Alex Jones and Milo? Yeah. And Gorillas, yes, I'm finally number one again. All right, let's take a quick look at who is number one. I'm number one. I'm number one. Top fans is Gorillas, followed by freaking StreamYards. I need you to just delete or fix StreamYards. And then number 3, John Ponerero, 150 XP, 225 for Gorillas, 175 for Stream Elements, 150 for JPRPH1. And then we go to Accounting Sheet, 125, Connie 100, Big Al, Enigma, and Snortopoopus at 75 XP a piece. Gorillas, if they shut down the internet in the United States, it would make Nepal look like a romantic campfire. I don't know what happened in Nepal, so I'm not sure. Curtis, you SOB, how dare you make me agree with the Young Turks, you effing SOB. Yeah, I don't agree with him much, but in this one, yes. And again, Jimmy Kimmel, you could learn. In fact, all of you leftists, a lot of us right wingers, at least from that spirit and attitude, there's a lot of people who could learn a lot from that. All right. Here's one of the Canadian leftists. Here's one of the leftists that was
somebody with a gun, which is almost everybody in the fucking. Charlie Kirk got shot and he's dead. Finally, finally, somebody with a gun, which is almost everybody in the fucking states, grew a pair and fucking went and shot somebody on the right side. Thank you. Can we keep this up, please? Charlie Kirk got shot and he's dead.
She's probably a registered Republican. Now, I don't know that I want to rejoice that she was fired necessarily. And I agree with you, Gorillas. I don't like the people that have been like, I got 20-some people fired. I don't like that. I get why they're doing that, but I don't like that. But anyway, St. Mary, this nun here that I sub to because I'm weird. Jesus, mercy, forgive her and all these mixed up people, for they know not what they do. Young Turks guy. While back, I put these rules for the internet. One, when we disagree, we fight. And he means verbally. We have a debate. Two, we have a beer afterward. Three, when we agree, we unite. I got a lot of flack, surprisingly, for the line about the beer. People would ask, oh, yeah? Would you have a beer with Charlie Kirk? Well, I did. And I'm glad I did, because now I won't get to. Yeah, Charlie and I disagreed a lot and about really important things, but somehow we didn't lose our humanity. We were still fellow Americans. We can all choose to hate each other now. That's a normal human reaction. We can choose to blame each other. I'm sure we will, endlessly. Or we can defy the voices of division in the country and have a beer together, this time in grief. I wonder if Jimmy Kimmel ever had a beer with Charlie Kirk. If you really want to strike back at whoever did this, listen to each other instead of hating one another. They want us to hate each other. Treating one another as brothers and sisters, as a united America, would be a historic act of defiance. Since this guy's on the left, I can never pronounce his name. I'll go first, he says. For everyone on the right, most especially the Kirk family, I am so sorry for your loss. I share your grief. I want you to know our hearts are with you. Again, Jimmy Kimmel, words that might have kept you on the air, or at least would have made me sorry that you were not still there. I officially have a favorite Hollywood celebrity, Chris Pratt, praying for Charlie Kirk right now, for his wife and young children, for our country. We need God's grace. God help us. I cannot, and I don't understand why that's offensive. I don't see anything in there about politics whatsoever. He's not saying he agrees, disagrees, because that's not what's important. What's important is that he passed, and that there is now a hurt family. I'm not going to read the whole thing because I've already read one of his, but Rob Schneider, during this difficult time in our nation, actually, I may read the whole thing. There will be those that want vengeance and will feel justified in their actions to commit violence. That is precisely why they must not give in to the temptation of returning evil with evil. Thessalonians 5:15, see that no one renders evil for evil to anyone, but always pursue what is good both for yourselves and for all. And that's the main reason why I'm not gloating over these people that have been fired. I have very little sympathy or pity for them, but I'm not going to gloat over them. Because if the Bible's true, maybe it's not, but if it is, then we're not supposed to be happy when something bad happens, even to the people who hate us. Megyn Kelly, we're going to miss you terribly. Rest in peace. Admiral Teague, very sad state of affairs for Charlie Kirk, those he left behind. In my prayers this night, the man had the right to his opinion. There can be no justice. Let's hope the person's accountable to pay. Whatever else it may have been, it was absolutely a hate crime. Mambo Italiano, today I lost an impressive number of followers. Are you really outraged because instead of talking about Italian pistachio ice cream, I said that Charlie Kirk is a martyr? And his wife, whose name I don't really know how to pronounce quite right, is an innocent angel? Help me understand. Young Turks, if they don't ever catch the killer, he's definitely not an amateur, but they did catch him. I don't know how to pronounce this name, but my entire life I voted Democrat. Here's the person taking a photo with Obama. Donated the max to Obama. Got a photo. Had him talk about my toe shoes on the stump. Pulled my kid out of preschool in 2016 after Trump won because their teacher was MAGA. Voted Kamala last year. Today, I registered Republican. This is Photoshop, but I I love this is the closest I came to crying for all this thing. Just he's got his arms around that poor Ukrainian girl, and because I hope they're both in heaven. I'm not crying, you are. All right, I'm going to skip this one. I think this one's just cool. This was another one that almost made me cry. Oh, man. What's viral for Haka for Charlie Kirk? All right. Man, I've got a lot of stuff here. Crowds are now chanting, "We are Charlie Kirk." In South Korea, don't forget Arina Zarutuska. She too lost her precious life at the hands of lunatic Democrats. Maybe not. We don't. To be fair, we have no idea what that guy was registered, and it really doesn't matter. That's actually not what's important. It's not just the usual hate spewing politicians on the left, it's the activist judges they plant in our judicial system as well. This 16-year-old jumped into a river after witnessing a car with 3 girls fall into the water. He rescued all 3 passengers, even helped a struggling police officer, saving 4 lives in total. I just thought, after all the negativity, there it is. We got positivity, black man saving. I don't even know what the race of the girls are. It doesn't matter. Good man. Good job. I'm going to skip this one, even though it's kind of cool. The Kifness, people are starting to realize without Christianity, Western civilization as we know it is doomed. Tommy Robinson, I don't know how many of you know, but he led an enormous rally of people in Britain. We came, we saw, we conquered. Millions hit central London in a show of patriotic unity like nothing before. Cultural revolution has begun. The future belongs to us. This one is for you, Charlie Kirk. And I mean, just look at all those people. They're upset. They're tired of being gaslighted. They're tired of being lied to. I'm sure my liberal friends, I say I'm sure because I heard you say it all the time. These are just a bunch of racists. These are just racists that believe in replacement theory. Well, there probably are some in there. That's a big crowd. So, yeah, there's probably some in there. There's probably also some left wingers. It's a big crowd. But I think most of these are just normal people who are worried about their country. All right, I'll skip this one. Troy Pacelli, do you hear the people sing? Yep. Another big old rally, same one. 40,000 patriots, 250,000 stand. You claimed 40,000 patriots and 250,000 stand up for therapists without THE at the beginning of it. Attended today. Here's the Patriot March. This was the Patriot crowd. Don't you look ridiculous now? Charlie Kirk, the right. And that might be a little bit too far, but if you just take it as an analogy, then we can work with it. Just don't pull out the pew pews and go all John Wick on anybody. Lane Brown, hi, my name is Lane Brown. I am from Oklahoma. I'm 19 years old. I'm a Christian conservative because of Charlie Kirk. I am Charlie Kirk. Another Robert Schneider, another one of these. The Nun, why alien abductions happen only at night? It's 9 p.m. and you're just now telling me you need a human for school tomorrow? Skip that one, skip that one. I probably about run through all of them that. Okay. I haven't watched this one. I need to. And even after all I've said, it's probably something we need to at least think about and pray about. Ron Paul, if Democrat cancel culture was wrong, how can Republican cancel culture be right? I still, with respect to Ron Paul, think it is a different thing, but it is something to think and pray about. This is the real America. Fletcher Williams, I suck at games. After Charlie Kirk's memorial in Bentonville was destroyed earlier this week, a group of local kids came by to restore it. There's still a lot of good in our country. We have Colonel Sanders having a beer with Alice Cooper. I don't know why. I just felt like bookmarking Alice Cooper's song Poison from '89. And the last one I have, if I can get my dang. Okay. This thought angers me. This is from Grayman 7107. This thought angers me every single time that I think about it or see anything like it. Liberal hypocrisy, like liberal stupidity, knows no limits. A little bit of ad hominem there, but I can understand his feeling. Liberalism is not only a danger to America, it endangers the entire world. Now, think about this. Look at this and think about this. And it's again a little bit ad hominem, but he's sharing Gunther Eagleman. Every Democrat in America, I support Ukraine. I support Ukraine. I support Ukraine. But not this Ukrainian. Something to think about. All right, let's get caught up in the chat, and then I'll thank you all and call it a stream. The Prime Minister's wife was covered in gas. Oh, holy crap! In where was that? You said, but I've already forgot. Nepal. Holy crap! Make exorcisms great again. John Ponderera, 58 House Democrats voted against a resolution honoring Kirk after his assassination. Yeah, they also refused to pray. Maybe that doesn't matter. I think it does. Watched Young Turks versus Rubin on Pierce Morgan. Yeah, I watched part of that. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched part of it. Cardinal Dolan likened Kirk to St. Paul after looking into who he was. Ah, gotcha. And rumor is Kimmel was refusing to issue an apology, and that pushed the decision as well. Yeah, I'm sorry. If the Young Turks guy can talk like a human being, why can't Kimmel? He smartest thing he could have done would have just been, this was a horrible thing. We need to be more united. And that would have been it. No, he was going to address it and possibly double it down. Again, it could be a rumor. All right, let's call it a stream. I've been on here for a long time. 3 hours. Holy crap. It didn't feel like it to me. You guys are probably like, yeah, it felt like it. For a long time. I just keep letting life get in the way. He could have whoopied it. Yeah, right. Look, I'm not perfect. I know he who is without sin is the one who should cast the first stone. But Kimmel, I'm not. I don't. Is it right that he's being canceled? I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, don't care. I have no sympathy. I have no pity left for him. I'm not going to gloat over it. I'm not going to, yeah, he's been canceled. But I have no sympathy for him. I have as much, probably more sympathy for him than he had for Charlie Kirk. All right, let's say hello to everybody. Thank you, Snortopopus Cuber, for being here. Hopefully I didn't annoy the crap out of you. Connie Cleary, faithful woman of bird woman of YouTube, thank you for being here. There's a ton of great creators. I'm not going to promote you all only because I've been on here for so dang long. Big Al is on here. Thank you very much. Maybe check him out later. But I'm going to be doing a watch party of Jack Frost. So, some of you guys are good at ping-ponging. Accounting Sheep is saying ahoy. Said a lot of great things during this stream and was very generous last night. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. $1 billion for hurting some feels. Yep. I think that Alex Jones was overly. I don't think that was justice. I think anything over 100 million was not justice. You shouldn't lose tens of millions of dollars or billions just because of anything you said, unless those words were pick up weapons and fire pew-pews at people. Then no, it's not even money. Then it's prison. LDG Free the Net, thank you very much for your kindness and your patience. I know I was a little bristly with this one. Arr, bristle. Arr, arr, arr. Gorillas Censored Thoughts. Both Gorillas and Accounting got to taste the wonderful sugar of censorship, which we've been experiencing for years, but yet we're the bad people. Gorillas Random Thoughts, 1 month a member. Taking back my number. I want my number one spot back, and he got it, I think. Let me make sure you're still. Yep, you're still there. Gorillas is number one. Gorillas is number one. Charlie Sheen, Ben Vereen, shrink to the size of a lima bean. And I think, was that everybody? I think that was everybody. Yeah, Whoopi's still on. He's refusing to do what his bosses are asking him to do. People get fired for that routinely. Yeah, I mean, even if it's something unreasonable, and I'm not saying that that's cool or good or right, but I've been fired because my boss wanted me to do something unreasonable and I didn't do it. Am I supposed to feel sympathy for Jimmy Kimmel when he wouldn't do something that, in my humble opinion, was reasonable? Anyway, I got a to-do list to do here and all kinds of stuff. So, hope you all have a wonderful afternoon, evening, and I hope I see some of you at the watch party of Jack Frost, 9:30 Central. Have a wonderful evening, and God bless all of you. Oh, wait. You better feel special, Curtis. Very few streams I would sit here for 3 hours. Thank you. I hope it was worth your time. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Take care. I am Charlie Kirk. I'm Spartacus.